What's up, y'all? Kofi Kingston here, and I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks, depending on what that drink is, preferably non-alcoholic, you know?
How's it going, Celtic Warrior Damon?
Soda.
And I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Maple syrup.
Fella.
I would never have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Welcome to Wrestling on the Rocks, where every show is our first show and every episode is episode 1. I'm at Ref Marsh. We are at WTR the show. With me today to recount New Year Who Dis Day One, we got Kevlar on the Rocks, the other half of the Ironics.
What up, y'all?
Hey.
It's been a minute.
Hey, Kev.
What's up?
And with us, as always, Mr. Sports Beard. Say what's up, Beard.
Hey, thank you for having me, Ref Marsh, and nice to see you, Kev. Hope you had a good New Year and a happy Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hope it was decent.
You as well.
Producer lady staring at me like she wants something. What's going on? No? All right, well.
Are we going to have producer lady on comms, and she's going to be a part of the...
Sure. I set it up so she can be. I don't know if she likes you guys enough. We'll find out.
No, yeah, we already know that she does not like us that much, so...
They asked if you were going to be on comms. I said, depends on how much you like them. And Beard said, well, we already know how much he doesn't like us. Okay. So, well, hey, you've made it.
You're just us three.
Yep. Jeremy Time already in the chat. How's it going, Dive Bar? That's right. We are the Dive Bar of the IWC. Guys, let's start with a little something simple. A little bit of what's in your glass. We'll start with the Beard. What do you got?
Liquid death.
Nice.
Which is, water.
Water in a can. Always good.
Yeah.
But it doesn't sound cool if you just say water.
Yeah.
If you say liquid death.
Yeah.
Sounds awesome.
Murder your thirst.
I enjoy the irony, just given that, water is the life force. But still, Kev, what's in your glass? I'm
drinking some Dos Equis.
Nice.
These are the most interesting podcasts out there.
Ah, that's a good point. And it's like Degeneration X, like Sports.
Yeah,
points out.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Two X's represent Degeneration X.
Yeah, dude, suck it down.
Yeah. How badass would it be if there was like a Shawn Michaels and a Triple H as the X's, like special edition?
That'd be so dope, dude. That'd be so dope.
Why haven't they? God. Should be in marketing.
I'm having mystery booze. I found a bottle of water in the fridge that smells like booze. It's definitely brown and not booze. I think it's possible it's Bullet. It smells like a bourbon. We're going to find out, but I have some green tea here to mix it up with just in case it's pretty butane-y. You know what I mean?
I mean, throw in some couch pizza or something while you're at it, I found this fucking piece of couch pizza that I'm going to eat. It was in my couch. I don't know exactly how old it is, but I'm going to have it with this nondescript alcohol. It was unlit. How do you know that's not gasoline from a lawnmower? I mean,
I don't. Other than we don't have a lawnmower. That's my best guess. But besides couch pizza, we have couch Cheetos and pocket tacos.
Okay. I was going to say, it could be lighter fluid, also known as Everclear.
Oh. Well, I think this is pretty dark. It smells like a bourbon. I think that there's a good chance it's Bullet. I think that's why I would have kept it and not just said, dude, I'm not taking that water bottle of bourbon. But I think it was a good bourbon that was in it.
Can I ask a personal question?
You can ask it. We'll see where it goes.
How did Bullet bourbon get in a plastic bottle in your household?
Exactly.
I'm pretty certain I brought it back from a wedding, but I don't understand why at the wedding we wouldn't have been able to just have a bottle of booze.
Or a flask or something.
Yeah.
Like a flask. Maybe we get you like a WWE flask or something that you can connect to your belt when you go to a wedding or something, and you don't have to like bootleg Bullet bourbon in a plastic bottle.
I don't believe I built it. I believe I was gifted it after the fact.
Okay. That makes sense. Because I was going to say, plastic bottle also not the most discreet thing because they're not quiet. Especially that brand. It's like There's no way you're gonna discreetly drink from that bottle at a wedding. People are gonna be like, "What's that crinkling sound?"
Oh, right. And plus, it's like a dark brown. They're like, that water is mud. What do you
Yeah. Is that unfiltered water you're drinking there, sir?
Yeah. Where'd you bring that from?
Is that potable?
Let's see. Just in Time in the chat. Cheers, my Dav Bar friends. Cheers to Just in Time and GR Lunar. He says, greetings, fellow wrestling enthusiasts.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers, guys. Thanks for coming through the dive bar of the IWC and having a little drink with your drinking buddies.
Yeah, you're a legend, Justin.
Justin does have his own podcast now, so we'll see if he becomes big time just in time and if he goes full Hollywood and turns his back on us, much like Hogan did his friends. We'll see how it goes. Only time will tell.
We're waiting for it.
Yeah, I'm always prepared for all of my friends to go big time.
Well, he's already better than me. I mean, that's not hard to do.
That's true. I do have confidence Kev will never go big time.
Yeah. I'll double down on that bet.
Yeah, I mean, we just hope you don't fall asleep on the podcast. So
I'll meet those odds. Yeah, well, we might not have as long of a show. I feel like that the news of the day is not as rambunctious for this crew. There was a lot of news, so I don't want to pretend like we are ignorant of it. There were a whole lot of layoffs that happened in NXT, primarily NXT backstage talent. So it's something that we're going to tackle tomorrow with Amanda and Clump, who are the resident NXT specialists. But I do know that a couple names you guys would recognize, and so just to get your quick thoughts on it, Road Dogg Jesse James was let go, Scott Armstrong let go, and William Regal released as well. Right before I go and ask you guys your thoughts, Lunar does say, I'm definitely planning for my Hollywood Lunar run. That's actually, he should. Justin Time says, I would never turn my backs on you. I love you guys too much to do that. You know, Hogan said the same thing to Macho Man. He said the same thing to Macho Man.
Yeah.
And then the leg drop happened. And then Lunar says, I would. I'm Rogue in every RPG I play. Okay. So, guys, back on track. Let's start with Kev to see, or you know what? Let's start with Beard, because you had a really good question about it. I want to get your quick thoughts, and then you can pose the question, and we can shoot to Kev to give the answer, because you questioned a little bit earlier. But Beard, what are your thoughts about Road Dogg and William Regal being released? I don't know if you got to see much of what they brought to the table on screen, you know?
Well, but I do know that Regal has been in charge of development there for a long time, right? And correct me if I'm wrong. He's like the general manager of NXT. So that's like a huge position there.
Yeah.
Just feels really odd. I guess my question was, like, do you guys feel like this is like a part of like just increasing the asset ability, or they are gonna sell, or the WWE, or is this a precursor to just major changes happening to the WWE, like like net NXT overhaul or whatever?
Yeah. Kev, what do you think about those releases? And then you can take a shot at Beard's question on what you think.
I mean, it sucks. I like, those two guys. I didn't see any of the other talent that was released. But I know Regal was on screen a lot, and I know Road Dogg, obviously was backstage. But, it's like, NXT 2.0, so they're, completely going in a different direction. But you would think they would do that at the beginning of it all.
I can see that.
Start 2.0 off fresh without them. And yeah, as far as the sale, I have no fucking idea.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I
maybe
wonder
not. I don't know.
I wonder if part of it was in the plans either way, and there was just a transition to the 2.0 structure of things. You know what other name was up there, Kev, that you might actually recognize now I think about it, was Timothy Thatcher.
I like Thatcher a lot.
Yeah. Thatcher was one that I thought he could transition on the main roster really well, in like a similar concept of Daniel Bryan being like the best wrestler in the world when he first came on. I think Thatcher could have filled that role, but just in a bigger guy. What were you going to say?
Yeah. and yeah, I thought he could. I think he had a like a tricky situation because if it wasn't right, I think he would have failed horribly on the main roster.
Yeah.
You know, if you did it right, and you know, I guess that's such a generic thing to say that goes with anyone, but you know, I liked him. He was, you know, kind of, I guess, strong style, if you will.
Yeah.
But
like a real strong style, but real catch style.
Yeah.
Real technical, and just had this disturbingly creepy face about him. Just the snarl he had. If I could take a shot at Beard's question, my hunch is that this is not in response, or at least relative to the rumors of a potential sale. My hunch is that if there is a sale, these releases were not part of that structure. I don't think that it's as, with a company that large, I don't think it's as simple to say that releases equals and profits are tied to each other. I don't think employee salaries have as much to do with those quote record profit quarters and such that as many people want to think about. I think the company's so large that having the narrative, which I see a lot of, so I was glad you brought it up, because other people just flat out saying, I don't understand how they can do these releases when they say their profits are up. Small companies release people when they can't afford to keep people. Large companies release people for reasons that have nothing to do with the book. They're not releasing them because they're trying to increase profits. They're releasing them because they're trying to restructure the business. Whether it's restructuring because they want to sell, I don't know. If it's a restructuring just because they want to restructure, it's very possible. They have new leadership. They got Nick Khan over there. NXT is completely different than it was before, so maybe they're like, hey, maybe with the new setup, maybe we need new trainers, give it fresh life, fresh blood. Maybe there was, I mean, you saw Scotty 2 Hotty requested his release and got it not that long ago because he said he lost his passion for it, that it wasn't what it was. There's a lot of talk constantly about people saying like Black and Gold was better than or different than. Maybe part of the idea of like, hey, if we're really going to go all in on this NXT 2.0 and this venture, maybe we need to shake the back of all this, well, back in Black and Gold days, or how many managers have you ever had or trainers you've ever had in your careers or sports or anything where you ask them a question and they go, well, nowadays I couldn't tell you, but 7 months ago we used to do things like this. Like, maybe that was more prevalent than we give credit to. I don't know. And maybe some of it, I believe Regal said right before Samoa Joe came back that he was thinking about taking a step away, a step back, and slowing down, and he might just want to be back in the UK. I think it's just more complicated, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And I think at face value, you could make all these connections, but I think it's strictly a face value thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes total sense. I think exactly what you said is probably the case.
It's just my hunch. Let's see. I'm gonna hit the chat real quick. Producer's she's strapping on the old microphone. Let's see. Jeremy says, take it for what you will, but Fightful reported that WWE told them that the releases happened so that they can fully transition to NXT 2.0's evolution. Of course, dirt sheets are bullshit, so who knows? Which I give you too, but I do think that sometimes you just got to flesh the system of an older mentality, and you can even bring back people later. You know what I mean? Like, who knows? Maybe we see Road Dogg come back down the line, or a Regal come back in a different capacity. Maybe it's like, hey, we have to release these contracts, but that doesn't mean we're never willing to work with you again. We need to get a new system going. Producer, you had something you want to say?
Do you turn my mic on? Yeah. Okay. Hello. So I think I agree with you, with Marsh, in that I don't think this means that they're ready to sell or that they're not doing well, or anything like that. I do follow them on LinkedIn, and they did put out they're hiring for HR recruiter or coordinator, I should say. They're hiring for like an accountant, sales, international sales, I believe. So it definitely doesn't sound like, ramping down. I just thought immediately when I heard that it was all those backstage folks, I was thinking like those people were so important to old NXT. However, clearly this is such a different a different road that they're trying to pave now with NXT 2.0, that it kind of makes sense to me. That you don't want to keep doing the same thing, right? You need to change it up in a way that maybe they haven't thought of, or like you said, like, you know, you just get so comfortable in the position that you're in. And those people have been there a very long time, you know, like it's not like you said, like Regal wasn't expecting to retire. I legit thought he was going to retire. You know, when he was all teary-eyed and Samoa Joe was coming in. I mean, I think a lot of people thought that, right?
Yeah, and then who's to say that they didn't say, hey, we just need to usher in this new era. Let's get through the new year, and then we'll see where we're at there.
Yeah.
That's just kind of the HR perspective, but I mean, I guess if we're trying to be cynical, you could always need more HR coordinators if you got to coordinate a bunch of releases because you're selling, right? But I'm not trying to be cynical.
I mean, we don't really know. I think none of those names that were listed don't have a future anywhere, you know? Like, if they want to, they could clearly go anywhere else. Like, if Regal really wanted to keep working, like, I'm hoping that if that's the case, that maybe he would help out some other companies, some smaller companies that haven't gotten the attention that they deserve, you know? Like, I would love to see him in, like, MLW or, you know, somewhere else that needs more attention because they've got so much talent there. Like, I have no problem with smaller companies getting some of these great releases. Like, as sad as it is, I kind of think of what's his name? NXT was my developmental.
Cardona saying about WWE?
Yeah, like I kind of think of that, and that's like a really positive spin on like hey, you don't have to be done if you don't want to be, you know. So, I mean, it's a bummer in the moment, but hopefully we'll see some of those guys down the line.
Cool.
Yeah, real quick on,
Hit it.
you know, what you said, because I don't know as much about NXT and stuff like that, but if they rebranded NXT to NXT 2.0 and it's a change, it does make sense to make changes at the management side too. I mean, they did kind of have an influx of those NXT wrestlers get called up or leave or go elsewhere too, right? So you had a change with the wrestlers. So it just does feel like that does make a ton of sense and probably is the reason.
I was going to ask you too, specifically because you guys see it more than us. Doesn't that happen in sports teams? Don't they sometimes? Like, didn't the Cubs just do that? Release all their best talent and go like, all right, we're going to redo it.
Yeah, it does. It does. I mean, I think, yeah, especially because you saw a couple guys from that World Series team, and I'm sure the Cubs fans. But I think part of it is too, the economics of baseball are changing. It's cheaper. They're finding out it's cheaper to have a guy that makes $750,000 in the first 6 years of his deal than pay some guy $300 million, and they're starting to do that. So it's kind of it is an economic thing too, because they don't want to pay luxury tax and stuff like that. If you're not familiar with baseball structure, they don't have a salary cap like all the other professional leagues, but they have a luxury tax. If you go over the 250 million threshold, I think, then you have to pay. There's about 3 or 4 teams that are usually over, and then that money gets distributed evenly through the 30 other teams. So
that's cool. I know that. Kev, were you about to say something?
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say that's exactly what teams do, especially when, you know, they realize that their season, you know, that they're not going to go anywhere, they're not going to make the playoffs, so they get rid of the veterans, bring in the new guys, and like Beard said, you know, it's a salary dump. Normally they get traded to contenders that are trying to get a little extra oomph before the trade deadline so that they can make a playoff push and stuff, and yeah, do it all the time.
So does this feel or look like it could be that kind of thing? 'Cause that's kind of more or less my theory, is that it's just that shake-up because it's a restructure.
Well, it's, to me, like, you know, everyone that's sitting there saying that, oh, they're in financial troubles, this and that, they wouldn't go out and sign all these, you know, college kids.
No.
You know, to the, next in line or whatever they're calling them.
Yeah.
And then, you know, cut who they have. Like, I think it is just a complete rebrand. You know, get rid of the black and gold. It was kind of symbolized when Breaker showed up last night.
Yeah.
Or during his entrance.
Yeah.
So
Take that X in half. So funny.
yeah, yeah. But
Yeah, I was gonna.
I mean, yeah,
gonna do it.
I think it's just a rebrand, different direction.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Well, to wrap it up, Jeremy in Time in the chat says Regal's release genuinely shocked me. He was involved with talent recruitment in NXT even before the indie style that they adapted. Thought he would stick around to help continue recruiting even if he's no longer in the GM position. I thought that was very possible, but at the same time, I don't know. And he was constantly seen at like the PWG shows, and his recruiting was constantly indie talent recruiting. I mean, even before the huge USA push, if we want to be a third brand, he was bringing in people, but it was also a lot of people from the other wrestling thing. If they're no longer recruiting indie wrestlers as actively, maybe they don't need someone who's as keen in the eye as William Regal to pick, those diamonds in the rough. Maybe they're going to go for the athletes like they've been saying, and maybe as far as the indie talent that I'm sure they'll pick up at certain points, because I don't think that they're blind to that. I think they're going to let hype have a lot to do with that, right? They're going to, who's the buzz about? Who's everyone talking about? And let's take a look at them. Like, I don't think they need to go to a bunch of shows in the UK and see guys who aren't in the main event to see what they could be down the line. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, I think we're
Whoa.
The hell?
on.
Static on your end there.
Oh, sorry about that. I just turned it myself on.
Okay. Oh,
Sorry about that. Yeah, no, I think you're on point with that. I did see some news. I think it was WrestleNomics. Brandon, I forget his last name. Thurston. He had put out some data that showed that I forget if it was NXT, Raw, or SmackDown, but WWE just wasn't doing as well, like on the numbers chart, right?
Yeah, I saw that. I wasn't going to bring it up because it was a pretty ridiculous concept he was fighting for.
Okay.
Because he's been saying for so long that by the end of 2021, AEW would be handily beating Raw, if not in overall ratings, definitely in the demo. And because that's not happening, he suddenly went to Google searches.
Oh.
And he's showing that the WWE through Google searches is at an all-time low. People aren't Googling the WWE specifically.
Well, I was actually thinking based off of the data that he showed, because so that was low, and then it showed AEW was even lower.
Oh.
But then in general, I just thought, well, honestly, to me, looking at from just general, not like a non-fan, if I was casual viewer, I'd be like, oh, I guess wrestling's not very popular today.
Yeah.
That's all I got, which I thought was interesting, because you've got on the flip side WWE doing all of these things where they're really trying to get, I think, more viewers. So
Yeah.
I don't think it's really a horrible thing if they're trying to just change it up on so many different levels.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
100%. It does feel like the WWE is definitely marketing towards the more casual fan and not the hardcore fan, because they probably feel with people's viewing habits today, people are a lot less apt to get invested in it as much as they were in the past.
Yeah.
There's more stuff to watch. I mean, ratings don't mean what they meant, so I agree with producer lady.
Kev?
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, in today's day and age, you can watch whatever you want whenever you want. Back when Monday Night Raw and Monday Night Wars were going on, like, it was either that or football if it was on, and if football wasn't on, there's pretty much nothing in those time slots to compete.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, I think they are going for the casual viewers, because there are more casual viewers. Like, even during Day One, I was flipping in between Day One and the Winter Classic.
Wow.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah, I had the Winter Classic on the whole time I had Day One on.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, there we go. Segue in.
Yeah, if you go back to the year that the Cubs won the World Series, I wasn't going to miss that World Series, but one of the last games was on the same day as Elimination Chamber, and I had two screens on that day. I was like, I'm not going to miss Elimination Chamber, but I'm not missing this World Series.
Yeah, I'm watching. I'm wearing a hockey jersey, so if you ask me to pick between wrestling or hockey, it's not even close.
Yeah. No, I think a lot of people are like that. I will say this in regards to even the hardcore fan. back in 1991, Steve Beverly, who was a TV exec and became a bigger TV exec down the line, was writing a newsletter called Matt Watch. And because he had connections to the TV industry, he had a very unique perspective on the stuff going on there. And he was on the Pro Wrestling Spotlight with John Arezzi, and he's got a new podcast out where he revisits the old shows. And I believe episode 9 is the one where he goes and talks to Steve Beverly. He mentioned specifically that the more wrestling that's on TV, the less viewership you get across the board on all wrestling. Even the biggest ones, it actually brings the tide down. Because if you have 5 days a week to choose from wrestling, most fans will then just tune in and tune out at that point. So TV execs saw the more wrestling out there as a negative thing. They weren't clamoring for wrestling. A lot of execs were trying to get out of wrestling because they saw that more wrestling meant less viewership. Beard, you were going to say something?
Yeah, something's going on your end with the microphone. I don't know. Sounds like somebody's rummaging through a bag or something. I don't know. It's gone now.
You could turn mine off.
Yeah, I'll
No, it was just happening while you were talking. And I was like trying to, it was. You heard it too, right, Kev?
Yeah.
You'll hear it on the playback. It's quite loud.
All right, sorry about that one.
Yeah, no worries.
I was just holding
No, we want you on the microphone. It's fine now. I don't know if you were brushing the microphone up against something, or it's 100% fine now. I definitely don't want you off mic. I just they're just pointing out that it was. I know we're in the middle of the show, so hey, you feel like we beat the Steve Regal NXT stuff to death? I wanted to bring up the Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, we moved on to that. We were talking a little bit about the ratings, the Thurston thing, but you're welcome to move on now. I was just saying that I like that interesting theory even back in the 90s. The more wrestling on TV, the less successful any given wrestling show can be. And it's interesting to hear that 30 years ago and then see it now where we talk about the health of the wrestling business being that any night of the week you can catch wrestling, and everyone's going like, oh, look at WWE's got the lowest ratings ever. Like, yeah, because there's the highest amount of wrestling content that's out there. This was predicted 30 years ago, which is fascinating. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say even more interesting that what you referenced, Mr. Beverly's article or whatever, was that, that was mid 90s. You're talking about the heyday of the Monday Night Wars and stuff like that. So which
it was
a lot
early
of
90s, just before that.
Okay, well, a lot of people consider that the golden age of wrestling, right? I mean, it's
right.
Watching.
Now, and here's the irony of that, or even more the specifics of that, is it was 91, so it was right before the heyday of wrestling in 96. Between 90 and 96, all of those territories and all that wrestling left TV. They were no longer on TV, so you only had 2 shows on TV now, and it was WCW and WWE, and that's when ratings were the absolute highest. Because people do want to watch it, but when they're given the chance to choose between everything, they almost choose nothing. It's just incredible. So I agree with you. It's like notably a conversation I had right before the Attitude Era. They almost predicted the Attitude Era, and then after the Attitude Era, we're seeing the same thing happen from right before the Attitude Era. So maybe we'll see what happens. I mean, I don't know. Just it's fascinating.
Well, the other thing is too. So sports is the one thing I feel like I have to watch it live, right? I almost am getting to the point with wrestling. I'm like, I don't necessarily have to watch wrestling live, because I can watch it on the Fox app or I can watch it on the USA app. Now, like I said, I wasn't able to rewatch Raw because it wasn't on the USA app. But I feel like that one, it's easy to avoid spoilers. It's easy to avoid what could happen, I think, with wrestling, as long as you don't follow an overabundance of stuff on social media. I still, once in a while, accidentally spoil things for myself. But I feel like that, they still have not found an effective way to show how people are consuming content that way.
Yeah.
So I think Netflix is getting a better understanding of that, and how long have they been in, business for it. So it's just one of those things. So
yeah,
just moving on to it sounds like, again, I wasn't aware of this, but a lot of people wanted to see Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley because they both look like Adonises or whatever. So we're getting that for Royal Rumble now, thanks to Roman Reigns' COVID, right? So that sounds cool.
Yeah, the Bobby Lashley thing, that goes back even further than just them being physical beasts. They're also both former MMA. Bobby Lashley was in Bellator while Brock Lesnar was in UFC. and they both talked about each other even during that era where they weren't actively wrestling. They were both in MMA. So when they both got back into wrestling, everyone's all like, oh, well, wouldn't that be great to see them? Bobby Lashley's been saying his dream match is Brock Lesnar and has been for years. So the idea that he might be able to do some sort of crazy dream match, or he's got plans for it, and Brock's in a very giving mood as of late, yeah, it's pretty exciting.
And I mean, they're kind of.
Tell me if the gargle is back.
Okay.
Just as static is coming through a little bit there. Just
Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's okay. I don't know if it's a mic you have to hold by hand or you can't
Nope.
see, but when your voice comes through, sounds great. But I don't know if it's brushing against your hair or something. I don't know. It just sounded like a bag rustling. It's okay. It's every once in a while it'll be staticky. You guys will catch it. You'll fix it.
Let her talk and let me know as soon as she's done talking if you hear it. Go ahead.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool too that at this point, they're both in the same age range, that 40 whatever, like what some people would say is towards the end of their career. I mean, I would say, and they both are are still in great shape. They look awesome. So it's pretty cool that they're both in the same path. It's really cool.
Can I caveat on that?
Yeah.
Just a little spitting chicklets. Paul Bissonnette from TNT, NHL on TNT. They ran into Brock Lesnar in Atlanta after the day one. Got him, Wayne Gretzky. They all met with Brock Lesnar, hung out with him for 2 hours, drank some beers. Brock Lesnar told Paul Bissonnette works for Bally Sports Arizona and covers the Coyotes as well as working nationally for TNT. Biznasty, great Twitter follow. Love Paul Bissonnette. He's awesome. Sells the game great. He's not obviously a wrestling fan. He didn't even know that Lesnar had lived in Canada. Bissonnette is a Canadian, even though he lives in Scottsdale right now. He didn't know that he had moved to Saskatchewan. But Brock told him that he has, 13 years ago, he hired a new trainer. You guys might be aware of this. I was not. And he changed how he lived and eats. And he said he could probably wrestle for 3 more years, no problem. He feels like he's in better shape than ever. So I know we all talked about the 3-fight deal, but I think maybe Lesnar sticks around a little bit longer. And it sounds like behind the scenes, he's a really great guy. I've heard the same thing about Bobby Lashley. And they perhaps maybe want to keep him. He's kind of a big deal. And honestly, I've enjoyed watching him because I didn't really get when he came on the scene was kind of around the time I was not watching wrestling. So I didn't get to see him wrestle. I mean, I knew who he was because I know some people from Minnesota that went to college with him and stuff, but but I mean,
their lunch money.
No, it sounded like in college he was super nice too.
So he bought everybody lunch.
Well, I'm sure he didn't let people get bullied. Anyway, I wanted to bring up that spitting chick. There's an awesome photo out there with Wayne Gretzky, who is universally considered the greatest hockey player of all time. It's debatable, but he is.
Arguable.
Took all the goals away from Wayne Gretzky. He still leads the NHL in scoring all time. That's how incredible Wayne Gretzky was. It's 2,000 assists or something. But really cool. Wayne, I guess, is a big wrestling fan. So anyway, it just goes back to that whole Brock and Bobby Lashley, and hopefully we get to see more, because with Roman being out, and I know that storyline kind of. Oh, Roman's out, right? Roman is not. They're not letting Roman back for a minute.
Yeah, but COVID isn't a storyline.
Yeah, COVID's real.
No, I know, but I mean, I heard today.
He's talking about the storyline of him and Brock.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. They can't revisit that storyline for now. Yeah.
The storyline is dead.
Very
Correct?
different.
Well, it's at least on hold indefinitely. I don't think they never revisit it, but it's probably going to be a minute for sure. Part of me still thinks they're going to try and get to Roman Brock, but before we get into that, let's shoot over to Cav. I haven't heard from you in a minute. What do you think about all this? We'll backtrack a little bit to day one, but bringing up the Bobby Lashley Brock stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I was holding off until we got to Raw, but I mean, I'm excited for it. I've been a fan of both of them for a long time, and followed both of their MMA careers. So, everyone talked about it. They've talked about it. So for us to actually get it, yeah, I got excited. I just started picturing the Royal Rumble poster with Brock and Lashley on it, and
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be awesome. I'm
Awesome.
looking forward to it.
And I
Do
want
you
to get
feel
more from
like-
you about Day One, but I do want to just throw in there real fast. When Bobby Lashley made his big return right after Mania, I had never seen him. I wasn't watching when he was on. So I remember asking you, because you were like, oh my God, it's Bobby Lashley. And I was like, why should I care? And you went on and on about how this dude's incredible and a badass and we're going to love it. He had a rough year, but then after that, nothing but awesome. Go ahead, Beard.
Yeah, well, they tried to make him like a super baby face, and it just wasn't coming off that way.
It was weird. It was weird that it didn't work because he's such a nice
No,
guy.
my question was for you and Kev. Do you feel like this is a better storyline than the Brock and Roman one already?
Well, I think, truthfully, yes, because we've seen Brock and Roman like 30 times now.
7.
Even though this is a different Brock and a different Roman, which, I'm excited about, the dream matches that, people have talked about and the scenarios, like, I think it was an instant one for that storyline getting derailed, that it was like, hey, we can hit a home run with this. It's easy. It's, just put it together and people will like it. And I like it.
It just
does
felt like
feel-
the WWE. Oh, sorry, Ref Marsh. It just felt like the WWE was forced to giving the fans what they actually wanted to see from the get-go.
Kind of. That's kind of where I was going to. It felt like the ultimate fan service. Like, if we can't keep hammering down the Roman Brock, because I will say this: Roman and Brock have only been in 7 matches together, and I believe 3 of them were multiple people, and I think all of them span between 2015 and now. So we're talking like 6 years of a storyline that's been going, with averaging about a match a year. Except this year alone, we're in like the 3-year mark, if you want to go by 12-month time span and not January to January. So I will give you that it feels a little bit like we've been on this a long time, but realistically, the matches have been kind of spread out, and it does feel nice to not be stuck in the middle of a 6-year storyline and be able to go to the ultimate fan service of, here's that match everyone's been wanting. We got the opportunity and we're gonna fucking do it. We got them both in positions where they're main event contenders,
Yeah, but the thing was about the Brock and Roman thing is, I know it was spread out, but it felt like it, they would go into a storyline and it felt like that, they would always get back to that.
Yes. Yeah, they always revisited it for sure.
And that's why, because Brock was part-time. It'd be like if The Undertaker came back every year and only faced, AJ Styles.
Yeah.
Like, no one
Or
would
Brock.
be excited for that. Yeah, or Brock.
Producer had something she want to throw in here.
Beyond it being Lashley's dream match, I think this has a lot of potential to grab casual viewers, because even Beard said it a while ago. If you haven't been watching Roman for the past year plus, you might not understand his cadence, his style. We love it because we're so invested, but I think for the casual viewer, I think you put those 2 prior UFC dudes on and you're interested. You might watch the whole show. So I think people may be surprised at how much viewership they bring in.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a surprise, especially people who like the shoot fighting, as you will. People who've been watching Bellator and UFC, they hear that in WWE Brock and Bobby are going to have a match. They go, hey, look, it might not be a UFC octagon, but it's still going to be exciting,
Yeah, definitely.
Well, one thing that is kind of related to this whole thing that I'm curious about, and I'm wondering what Pat bemoaned it a little bit on his show today, because he was talking kind of longingly about Kevin Owens. And I know they moved some talent to Raw from SmackDown, but with Roman being out, what is the draw to watch SmackDown?
Nothing.
Hold on. Sami Zayn.
Yes,
Sami
I was gonna
Zayn.
say there's Sammy. You've got
Sammy's not a draw. The Usos are. Sammy's not a draw.
Sammy's my draw.
I know. Yeah. He draws something for you.
Well, let me ask in conjunction with that, because some of the early reports I read was that they would they would probably keep Roman out till WrestleMania, which isn't that long, right? You don't think that will happen, Ref Marsh?
I don't believe that for a second. They've already
No.
announced that Roman's going to be on SmackDown this week, so I don't know what.
Well, I think that was in front.
Yeah.
People are saying that's not true. I've read a lot of accounts that he will not be at
Well,
SmackDown.
he doesn't have to be at it. He might be, what is it, in through satellite and shit like that.
Well, I heard
But
the
the
thing
same
is-
thing with Alexa Bliss coming back. They don't think she'll be back before the Royal Rumble, but we will see like promo work, like they'll film promo work. But
Yeah.
maybe because of Roman's health stuff, I
But that's-
thought it was legit
Yeah,
that he would
that's-
be away.
I think
The only thing that would be cool if they were to keep Roman out from, actually performing until until Mania, is that if they, kind of what UFC does, where they have an interim champion. Okay, well, here's the new Universal Champion or interim, and then finally Roman comes back and says, "All
Hold
right,
on, Kev.
there's
Make it
only going to be
undisputed.
one champion." Yeah.
I wanted to bring up what you just said. I appreciate you bringing that up. I don't think they'll do anything with the Universal title. I don't think they'll have an interim champion. I think Roman will hang on to it. They're not going to give it to
Yeah.
somebody else.
I don't
He's not
think they
gonna
will, but I like
relinquish
the
it.
idea of it. I don't think they will, but I like
I
the
don't
idea
think-
of it.
Well, I don't think if they're keeping him away till Mania, which I don't think they will, but they would need a major title on SmackDown.
Something, yeah. Producer was going to say something.
I kind of think this would be a great opportunity to bring some people from NXT that they had in mind bringing up. Just kind of a thought there.
It would be tough just because they're not known enough to replace Roman,
No.
right? If you're trying to book equal than or greater than, no one in NXT is going to do that.
No, not replace. I'm just saying,
But-
with COVID, with folks, coming in and out
This-
unexpectedly, I think there's room for
You could, but
some folks.
to kind of like squash the topic in a sense. I mean, we keep going on it, but just the
Sorry.
COVID talk. Isn't the CDC's guideline as of right now a 5-day quarantine?
It is 5
Yeah,
days.
but
So-
do you know his status? Do you know what he has? Does he have?
No, but none of us do.
Yeah,
so for
none-
us to
none of
say
us
he's
know.
going to be out till Mania
We don't
versus
know.
back this Saturday, that's up to them.
rumors. That's
You know what I mean? Like, I have no idea. All I know is that, like, the CDC says 5 days, and it's up between Roman and WWE, wherever they want to lie on that. So it's a
Okay,
little harder
I-
for me to fantasy book in that regard. You know?
Yeah.
The CD
okay.
says 5 days if you're asymptomatic. That's what I'm saying. If we know Roman's asymptomatic, then he will be back.
We
Maybe
don't
not
even
this
know.
SmackDown, but the
I don't know
next one.
anything.
We don't even know if he
We don't
was
know
symptom-
shit.
like we're so far
Yeah.
removed that
Right, but
as
here's the
fans,
thing, though.
Yeah.
But you guys
Roman
are saying
Reigns-
5 days. What Beard is saying is that you have to be asymptomatic for the 5 days.
Yeah, and
If
we're
not,
saying we have no
it's-
idea.
Yeah.
Further.
Right. But
Exactly.
hold on 1 second. He also is a recovering chemo, right? Or
Yeah.
leukemia.
Yeah.
So he is considered high risk in the terms of people that would.
Yes, but this is all outside of the realm of fans talking fantasy booking.
I totally understand. Yep. I don't want to get down that road. I get where you're going.
Yeah, and that's what I mean is all of that is between Roman and the WWE.
Yeah.
All we know is he might be back Friday to Mania. Somewhere in there, we're
Yeah,
likely
yeah.
to see Roman, and in different ways. And, I mean, if we're going from a production conversation, who's to say you couldn't bring in Roman before everyone else shows up, film a bunch of backstage segments so it looks like he's there, and even have one where he says, you know what, the fans aren't getting me tonight. He gets in the car, drives away. He does a bunch of stuff where it looks like he's in the building, but he's not. Like, I don't know. You could do a bunch of things with it. It's production. It's movie magic. But with that in mind, I don't think we're not going to see him till Mania. But who knows? They've done weirder things. I do really like the idea that Kev brought up, though. If they do hold him off, it would be really interesting to see them do some sort of interim champion storyline, because we haven't seen anything like that almost ever. We've had people disappear with a champion, and they recrown a new champion, and then the champion, the other champion comes back and now has a dispute. We've seen it with Sammy, we've seen it with Shawn Michaels, and we've seen it with CM Punk. It'd be cool to see them do more like an interim championship thing, because we've never seen it that way. I would love it.
Mm-hmm.
And they could get away.
Yeah. I think it'd be. a perfect thing. You know, like I said, if the whole
Except they'd make it
WrestleMania
Drew.
rumor is true, which I don't think.
Oh, all right, I'm out.
They would make it Drew.
Yeah, Drew's injured though. Drew's injured. It
Still.
sounds like
Still,
he got
they'd still
seriously
make
hurt.
it Drew. They would still make it Drew.
But
Go
going
ahead, Kev.
back to the whole COVID thing and who, you know, what's the draw to SmackDown? This is why either Adam Pearce or Sonya needs to be the GM of each brand, or one of them needs to be the GM of each brand. Because I've been saying this since they've done the draft and beforehand. They need fucking trades. They need to say a trade. Like, hey, we're trading this person for this person. You know,
Yeah.
Roman's out. You know, the rumor or whatever, speculation, KO's might go to SmackDown. Then,
Yeah.
you know, we are trading Kevin Owens to SmackDown for, you know, future talent or future draft pick or something like that. But
That'd be cool.
instead they come up with stupid things called the wild card rule and all that other bullshit.
Pa, 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 pa.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, Kev. I'd like to see that. I would think maybe their logic, and you guys could correct me if I'm wrong, because what do I know? Is they don't want to ruin the surprise.
No, they fucking and this is what I was talking about last show, where I hate that wrestling
There you
ruins
go.
their
You wound them
their
up.
pops, because Alexa Bliss coming back would have been fucking huge. If all of a sudden her music came back, you know, in any kind of capacity, even if it was just a video package or whatever, like that would have been awesome. But to sit there and say, hey, Alexa's going to be here on Raw, or Johnny Knoxville is entering himself into the Royal Rumble, just have the fucking Jackass music play, and then, you know, Knoxville's face up on the Jumbotron. Hi, I'm Johnny Knoxville, and I'm entering the Royal Rumble, and then him run out there would have been fucking awesome.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
That'd been funny. That'd have been funny. I would have laughed a lot harder than I'm going to now.
Yeah, instead of, you know, I want to try this because my movie's coming out a week later.
Yeah. I did appreciate that what he was wearing when he made the announcement, because he shows like he's dressed for the occasion, was almost identical to what Andy Kaufman wore when he wrestled, and I loved that. But
Yeah. The only part I want to see is I want to know what was under the tape on his shirt.
no, wait.
Just real quick, getting a lot of feedback still from that microphone. Don't know what's happening there.
Well, that's weird. Yeah, I don't know. I'm more confused now than ever because I was certain it was something else.
Yeah, I mean, something is causing static to come through, like over there.
Yeah, like Beard said, it sounds like a microphone in a shit bag.
That's weird. That's unfortunate. I'll have to mess with some stuff. But
Yeah, no worries.
Excuse me.
All right. Well, moving on a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about day one. I know me and the Beard watched it live. I know Kev jumped in the chat for a moment. We didn't invite him because I was pretty certain he'd be doing a whole lot that day and not just sitting down in one spot. But sometimes, like you guys, like we even talked about, sometimes he'll just watch it a day or two later. I watch most of my wrestling a day later now at this point.
Yeah.
But not pay-per-views.
But what's hilarious is, like I said, I was watching both, and I was literally picking up my phone because I had the pre-show on, or warm-up show, whatever the fuck they call it, kickoff.
Yeah.
And I literally went to pick up my phone to text Beard and ask him if he was watching the Winter Classic. And then I get a thing on Twitch saying, you know, come join us for a drink. And I was like, these motherfuckers are drinking without me.
Well,
I would have loved to have you, Kev. I would have loved to have you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I just figured also because the weekends with him and his kids, I don't like to ask him about doing the watch-alongs too much just because when he does, it's him locked away in his own room and he's got to tell the kids to leave him alone. I feel bad. I always feel bad. Kiro is in the chat. Cheers to Kiro. But
Cheers, Kiro. Yeah, most of the time I don't watch the full thing. Like I'll watch up to a certain match and then it's like, all right, I'm going to do something else. And because I do have that luxury nowadays that, you know, we talked about earlier, that I can watch it when I want.
Yeah. And as someone who loves it, you still don't always watch it live. Me too. Like I think I love it more than anybody I know. And I do not always watch it live. And matter of fact, Raw, I didn't even watch the last hour. I was like, I'll catch it later. You know what I mean? Like, I will. Well, you fall asleep on every show, so. Let's talk a little bit about day one. I'm a little bummed Beard did not see Raw because I really wanted to know what he thought of Brock on Raw, because I think I know what Kev might feel about it, and I wanted to see what Beard did because it was a different presentation, but same but different. But let's reverse back just a little bit on day one. We don't need to go match for match, but if you want to talk about some of it, Kev, what were some of your highlights on day one?
Trying to think.
We had New Day and Usos.
Yeah, that's
The only SmackDown one
We don't-
on the whole card.
Yep.
Oh, really? I didn't notice that.
Yeah, Pat said he had to go backstage. Didn't get to call another match. Stayed there the whole time. I asked him, "Hey, did you fly home on a PJ?" You had to stay the whole thing. Didn't get to call another match because Roman and COVID.
Yeah. But even then, think about how wild that is. There was only 2 SmackDown matches the whole card.
Yeah.
Stupid.
And then at the end of it, they only ended up with one.
that goes to my point that they're doing shit with the IC title. Like, as much as I like Shinsuke,
Yep.
like, he needs to defend that shit.
Yep.
And that's just the minimum.
I don't even usually
But-
care about people saying like, oh, he hasn't defended it in this many months or that many months. A lot of times it doesn't matter to me, especially if they're doing a lot with the character. But in this specific instance, when you have only 1 or 2 matches for SmackDown on there, there's no reason not to put any kind of Intercontinental Championship match on there, if for no other reason to have another SmackDown match on there. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Go ahead. So, but New Day and Usos, I just
Well,
think they're
we
2
don't-
of the best
you know-
tag teams in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't need to talk about that because they always put on, great matches against each other, and they always
Yep.
will. And, it was it then that they came out with 3D or did 3D?
Are you talking about the Migos?
They did do 3D. No, not those idiots. The move, the 3D
Oh,
from the Dudleys.
the Dudleys? I don't think I caught
Yeah.
that, but probably.
I think that's how they ended it. Was with the 3D.
Could have been. Could have been.
Yeah, I thought Pat called it out. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds
I'm not as
familiar.
big a fan of Usos as you guys are.
Yeah.
But yeah, outside of that call out, or shout
that's what it
out,
was.
yeah,
Um,
I mean, like, there's nothing to complain. Like, if they had a bad match, then yeah, let's talk about it. But they're not.
Yeah.
They didn't.
Good call.
It is
Good call.
what it is.
So we can move it along. Drew McIntyre, Madcap Moss. We can move it along. Montez.
That was a good
Ford-
match, though. That was a good match. I actually thought that was a really good match, and I actually think Madcap can wrestle pretty good. And I know
Madcap looked
Drew.
good.
It sounds like Drew hurt his neck or something in that. It sounds like maybe he might be out. That sucks. I know how
This
much
is
he-
back because he's sick of carrying the company.
I thought it was a kayfabe injury, but if you're saying you're pretty sure it was a kayfabe injury because of a real injury, then I believe it.
Well, they brought it up on Pat's show today, and they weren't talking kayfabe.
I thought he got hurt.
Yeah, he got.
But-
so did
What?
Ridge Holland or whatever.
Oh
yeah.
Rich Holland
Oh,
has
fuck
the
up.
worst injuries.
Oh my God, it's the worst for him because Rich Holland is also a beast, and then just parts of his body shatter. I feel like, remember Arrested Development? That one dude had a girlfriend who had avian bone disease where she had hollow bones. I feel like that's him. I feel like Ridge has hollow bones. He caught Oni Lorcan, who's like $150. He catches him doing a cross body to the outside, catches him perfectly, shatters his knees and his shins. And I was like, how does that happen?
Yeah, that was just bad luck. This
Yeah.
this isn't hollow bones. This is Ricochet landing on his nose.
He landed right on his fucking face, and his face caved in. Hollow face.
Yeah.
Also a good
Everyone-
match, by the way, which
Great
I
match.
went
Yeah,
back and
everyone-
watched. That was a pre-show match, right?
Yeah. And
I
see, that's
see
what
why
I'm
Alex hit
saying. They need those guys with Drew McIntyre. Let's have Ricochet in them. That needs to be a fucking stable.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that. I would be okay with that. So I'll give you that. I think you're right on that one, Beard. Madcap looked a lot better than he's looked in a long time. When he was Riddick Moss, he was not looking as good as this. So, yeah, there's a lot to be said there.
Well, Ref Marsh, I didn't.
The other
know
thing-
him. Oh, go ahead, Kev. Sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say about Madcap Moss. I haven't seen him wrestle. like he just does the stupid show with Baron Corbin. I don't know if they were recovering from injuries or whatever, but they've just been doing the jokey stuff. And Pat even mentioned on his show today, all the guys in this thing, they're like, we liked broke ass Baron better. They were all like, they didn't run that one into the ground. I don't know. I actually was okay when he won some money in Vegas and could take a shower and stuff. But I just felt like I haven't seen Madcap wrestle really. So that was kind of cool.
When you have jokes as good as he has, I feel like you lean into that.
Yeah. The Miz built a career off of it.
Yeah. A la The Miz. Yeah.
But
100%.
one thing I learned on day one is that his name's Madcap. I always thought it was Mad Cat.
Oh, no. Because I guess I don't understand slang, but I think it has to do with like what AJ Styles taught me, where the kids say cap means it's not real or it's false. So Madcap.
No, I think like, Madcap is another term like the Mad Hatter. Back in the day, these hatters that made those hats that were very in vogue, they used to use like mercury to shape them and stuff. Well, that shit kills you and poisons you and would make you go insane. Thus, a Mad Cap or a Mad Hatter. So I think it's just another version of the Mad Hatter slang, which was like Hatters actually went mad. I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't know that, but I prefer the slang term the kids say these days.
I was like, don't like it, not doing it. He's like that horse in Ren and Stimpy. No, sir, I don't like it. I agree with Beard though. I think you're right. I couldn't understand the Madcap thing, and I think as soon as you said Mad Hatter, it all clicked for me because I knew exactly that's how the Mad Hatter was, what he was, and it also makes his character even more funny to me that he's all like, "Oh, I'm gonna call him the Mad Hatter because he's got all these wild and crazy jokes," and they're like the best jokes that you've ever heard. Just classic. He could run rough.
The producer just yelled "glory hole."
She did not yell "glory hole." She said they're horrible.
Oh.
But she's in the kitchen yelling, so it's hard to say.
Hey.
To be honest, I don't see what's happening in the kitchen, so if she just discovered a glory hole, then it's something I need to address.
Stop it, no. I know who could do really well on the roster you brought up.
Okay.
With the belt.
Okay.
Santos.
Santos, just give him the Universal title?
Yeah.
All right.
Come in there, have him be a badass. What?
All right, well, back to day one.
What?
Well, you guys were talking about Sammy being a draw. Sammy's been trying to weasel his way into the Universal title picture. It'd be a perfect opportunity to do that.
That would be funny if he showed up with one that was like homemade. Or you see him grab one of those replicas. Like they show him on camera in the backstage with the replica titles and he grabs one. Yeah, he buys one at the merch stand and then runs out to the ring. So good.
Oh, even better if he buys one at the merch stand. I was loving the homemade idea though, like a cardboard one or something.
Yeah,
with like
painted
duct
blue.
tape,
Actually, remember?
Isn't that the Daniel Bryan?
The Earth title? No, but remember the Slammies? Sammy didn't win one, so he got the tin can with the little figure he spray painted gold. Like he could do a spray paint championship title. By the way, the new Sammy toy is the Liberator Sami Zayn, and it comes with a Sammy Award that looks like a little figure on a tin can. It's so good. Let's see, real quick though. RK Bro and Street Profits. Was there anything you wanted to say about that one?
I'm telling you, they're taking the Street Profits in a different direction slowly. I think.
Okay.
There's something about it. There's something like more edgy than there was before. They're still annoying.
Okay.
I want to see more talent, but them just show their talent.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I have a ton to say about it that I didn't.
No.
Yeah. Go ahead.
We'll get to it on Raw. Well, I was just going to talk about their shitty football jerseys that they had on.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Like they could be cool if they would have put like the Street Profits logo on the sleeve or something. Like put some effort into it, but
Yeah.
And I forgot.
You got Bianca Belair making their gear. Why couldn't she help them with that jersey?
Yeah, exactly. But the other thing was that their numbers. One was 24 and one was 8.
It was something like that. Yeah, I couldn't figure out what the numbers were.
Kobe
About.
Bryant's
and I was like,
numbers. Those are
Kobe's numbers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but the thing is that he has no relevance to the Street Profits. The Street Profits have no relevance to him. Like, why weren't they 24/7? Like, we're the Street Profits 24/7 type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
I don't know.
I actually really like that. That the
And
dog
Kobe
got
Bryant
picked up by the
didn't
mic.
play football.
Maybe they're Laker fans. I don't know.
That could be. They could just be Laker fans. And yeah. That's probably closer to what it is. Let's see. Oh, Miz and Edge. So to me, this match was exactly what we thought it was going to be, and I just want to throw out because we were predicting it, and everyone else was. So it's not like we did anything special here, but we did get the return, ostensibly of Beth Phoenix. Edge calling them the Grit Couple. She comes out with hair like Bull Nakano and just punks out Maurice and even punks out Miz. I think Beth could be the female Brock Lesnar, and not that she's not. I think that she is. That she just is that level of badassery that I think it wasn't even Corey Graves on commentary said, to be fair to Maurice, I would be afraid if Beth looked at me like that way. I would run as well. She just comes off like a fucking beast.
Looked badass. I love that part. It's probably my favorite part of the whole pay-per-view, to be honest with you. Or
up there.
Potential digital comment? I can't remember what they want us to call it.
Oh, yeah, premium digital show or something.
Okay. You said it.
Kev, thoughts?
Yeah, just we got what we got, and like you said, everyone was predicting it. Like, yeah, I mean, no surprise.
Yeah, dope. And they had a good match together. But a match I did want to talk to you about specifically. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, not looking forward to the mixed tag match at Rumble or whatnot.
Yeah,
but
I'll be honest, if they let Vic Joseph sit in on commentary, I'd be much more excited for the match. Just for the novelty of. Well, yeah, because Vic and Beth were on commentary together on NXT. I think Vic does an amazing job. I think he's always done a great job with Beth specifically. Even when... So Vic's running the table, right? And Beth, for a while, was phoning it in from home. She was live satellite feed into their ear. So he couldn't ever give her visual cues. He had to pitch between Wade Barrett, who's sitting right next to him, and Beth Phoenix, who's sitting in Canada. So the way that Vic made sure that she had a voice on commentary did not fall on deaf ears to me, because it's so easy to get stomped out. And we've had commentaries in the past who talked right over the women in general. For Vic to stand strong and make sure that Beth got her voice in each time, I just thought was so cool. It'd be great to see her come back. Beard, what were you wanting to say?
Oh, I thought the Copelands lived in North Carolina. I heard on a podcast with Edge and Stone Cold, which I think was before Edge came back. I think it's like 7 years old or something. But he said that they lived in North Carolina.
I know they did. I don't know if they do. I thought they currently lived in Canada, but I could be way off. I have no idea. I don't understand contracts.
And I highly doubt they live in Canada right now, because, I mean, Canada's basically on lockdown again. I don't even know that Edge and Beth could have made it to the match with the way things are going there. I'm like, I got a hockey game on right now. It's in Canada. There's 0 fans at the game. They're not letting anybody at the game. They're rescheduling all the Canadian hockey games that are supposed to be at those arenas. And I know the WWE is doing the same thing, I believe. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess we could just look it up.
I mean, if you can find it. I don't know if it's... let's see.
He said North Carolina.
Asheville, North Carolina is what I'm seeing right now.
Yep. That's what he said like 7 years ago on that interview. I mean, I listened to the interview this year, but I believe it was from like...
Do they get a lot of snow in North Carolina?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Not like Alaska or anything, but they have winter there.
When I see snow, I think Canada and Christmas. Those are the only 2 things I associate with snow.
Yeah, they get snow in North Carolina.
All right.
It would also make sense how Seth Rollins could go there easily. So, I have to take a quick break, guys. Sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead and make your frog splash. Hey, Kev.
Yes, sir.
as we get back to it, I did want to get your opinion on this match. The final two matches are where we're at for day one as we move it along. Becky Lynch, Liv Morgan. What'd you think about this?
I mean, I like the match. I'm just like, I don't know. I'm a big fan of both of them. I love Becky. Liv, has proven herself more and more.
Mm-hmm.
I found myself rooting more for Liv, but I think it was because I knew Becky was gonna retain. If that makes sense.
The impending doom of it all. Yeah. I found myself rooting for Liv because of how good she was doing in this match. Even feeling like Becky's probably winning this, Liv was doing all you can ask for. She was doing more and more and being more and more clever. I do want to talk about a specific spot.
Oh, and
go ahead.
Oh, I was just about to say that.
Yeah, hit it.
Little twisty sunset flip thing.
Yeah.
Sunset powerbomb.
It was like a springboard. Yeah, it was like a springboard avalanche powerbomb kind of a look. I want to say this about that move. Did you have a personal issue with the concept of the believability of the move?
No. Well, no.
No, I did not. And I'll tell you why. Because I saw some people shit on it. Some people were celebrating this movie's incredible. Other people were saying, like, it doesn't serve her any purpose to spin before going to the powerbomb. Why wouldn't she just go over there, crawl over, save the energy, and push her down, right? Well,
that would have taken a lot of fucking time.
Exactly. That would have taken a lot of time. And how many times have we see someone climb up underneath someone to do that and the person starts punching down, right? You can easily reverse coming from there. Yeah. Becky, standing up there, may have been goading her to do that, expecting her to do that. And this is all kayfabe, obviously, whatever. The Becky character waiting, I know Liv, she's going to come for the simple thing, go right up underneath me, I'm going to drop down on her, I'm going to punch her lights out, and then I'll do a move off of here, right? Where Liv's like, she wants me to go that way. If I springboard flip, she doesn't have time to figure out where I'm coming from.
Yeah, it's very chess match.
Yes, it came off as a super chess maneuver. I'm going to stand there, because I did think for a second, Becky's sitting there a little long. And I didn't like people waiting for too long. But then when you think about it, Liv could be waiting there, or Becky could be waiting there, because I'm setting the trap for Liv. She thinks I'm out of it, but I'm not. As soon as Liv comes underneath me to try and powerbomb me, I'm going to punch her right in the nose. Liv, seeing her sitting there going, she's perfect for this. Too perfect for this. If I can get her from the side where she never knows where I came from, I can slam her before she even wakes up. Yeah. I thought it was brilliant.
The thing that pisses me off about anyone that says, oh, well, she didn't have to flip for that. 90% of wrestling moves that involves flips, they don't need a fucking flip for it.
Okay, well, there's that. But there is that. They don't have to flip ever, theoretically. Flips weren't even introduced till probably, 92. But
I'm just saying,
But in this particular match, I actually thought the setup of Becky trying to out-veteran the rookie Liv, and Liv trying to say, no, I'm a different beast. I thought this particular spot was incredibly important because it wasn't just a flashy move. It was, like you said, chess. It was smart. Set her up. I see the setup. I come at you. I see you. I raise you one. You know what I mean? And I thought it was absolutely perfect for that reason. So I saw a lot of people being like, whatever you want to say, moves look cool, but how does that does any good? And a friend of mine on there even was all like, but maybe that's just me because I understand physics. No. It's just you because you don't understand strategy. You don't understand the psychology of it.
Psychology, yeah.
Yeah, you only are thinking about the physics. Does this give her more leverage? No. Does this give her the surprise attack? Yes. That's why. Not to get the leverage, to get the surprise. This is the old Sandlot coming from the top, right? Mm-hmm. We've been going about this all wrong. But I loved it. I want to talk about it. I want to know what you thought about it, because I thought this match was easily I don't even think I need to go back and review. This was the best match that Liv Morgan's ever had.
Yeah, I mean, and like you have to give Becky a lot of credit too, because
Yeah, you do.
like they, I don't know how to word it, but you got to give her credit because she helped make Liv look so good.
Yeah.
Liv was on her own. Liv did her moves and stuff like that. Was great, but Becky, played a part of that too. And yeah, I mean, this is definitely the best Liv match. And I don't want to bring up like Charlotte, but Charlotte had matches with Liv, and Liv didn't look nowhere near as good.
No, this is what happens when you have two people who want to make magic and want to make it look like it means something to win, and make it mean something for someone to lose. So I 100% agree. I think a lot of props to Becky on this, and a lot of props to Liv on this. And to be honest, the unsung hero of this match, I think, was Natty Neidhart. The amount of training that we know Liv's done with Natty, I don't think is to be dismissed on this one too. I think this match was a collective effort, and I think it was absolutely brilliant. Dare I say, best Becky Lynch match of the year thus far, 2022. Get it? Get it? Because it was on the first day.
Right.
Get it?
Yeah, we get it.
Kev, you're not laughing. Do you not get it?
Oh.
I thought this was a Mad Cats joke.
Yep.
Producer's got something she wants to say.
Oh yeah, I saw on the flip side, I saw people online, my feed, shitting on Becky, right? Being like, "Oh, her finish is the worst. Her finish is trash." And I just, I mean, I kind of laughed because I was like, you know what? If that was your favorite, I don't think you'd be saying that, right? So I know some people are just sad of how it ended, but I just don't think it does any good to just, rail on, I don't know, the champ's champ.
Yeah. I mean, we have no problem with the Hurt Lock, which is a fucking full Nelson. And we have no problem with the Rock Bottom, which is the same move. And this was an Oblivion into man. Go ahead, Kev.
I don't think people had a problem, with her finisher per se, but the way this finished, I could see where somebody might complain, because I think it's supposed to look like, they were a little far away from the rope, and I think Becky was supposed to get her legs up. She was reaching for him. She didn't get it. I could see where somebody's like, well, that didn't happen because, they were 3 inches off, but
100%. I agree with what you said, Kev, but I also saw the tweets that producers talking about. They literally were shitting on the final move, not the finish of the match. But I agree with you. Clearly, Becky was supposed to get her feet on the ropes and was too far away. And I thought that was such a bummer because it did spoil the finish. It made the finish a little too clean. But at the very least, you can see Becky trying to get to the ropes to cheat.
Right.
So it's not on deaf ears entirely. Yeah. But yeah, the only thing that would have made the match more perfect was if she'd effectively cheated at the very, very end, and they were too far. Beard.
It just felt anticlimactic. Okay. And I think if you, like what you said, if she got her foot on the ropes, I think everybody would be like, oh, okay. But it just how good that match was going, and it was like Liv had actually really kind of dominated, and then Becky just threw the move and was over. And like you said, if she had had her feet on the ropes, it would have been fine. And I think everybody been like, oh, she got screwed again. But because we didn't get that, we're like, oh, all this selling a Liv and trying to make Liv is kind of gone to the wayside. I think what they should have done is impromptu, just wrestled for 5 more minutes, and I would have been fine with that, because it was a great match. It just sort of was really anticlimactic because of the reasons we all have said a million times now.
Well, the thing is that they, without Becky telling Liv to kick out, Liv didn't know that she needed to kick out in that case.
Yeah.
True. So it falls on Becky there. But I will say what it did do, though, is protect the manhandle slam. Because actually she doesn't even call it manhandle anymore. Or she does. She doesn't do the arm handle, though, anymore. But it does protect the finishing maneuver, right? Because she did reverse the Oblivion into the manhandle. So rightfully so, she shouldn't have to cheat to win with your finishing move if it's a strong finishing maneuver. I can see both sides of it, though. It did protect the finishing move, so it's like, hey, don't kick out of the manhandle slam because I just fucking did it, and it has to mean something. But it would have been nice if the cherry on top was she also cheated just to make sure, because she wasn't positive it would do it. So, I mean, maybe we're really splitting hairs here, or as Jeff Jarrett says in his podcast, getting super granular. But I can understand that argument.
Oh.
I do feel like I do prefer protecting the finisher over the alternative. And it is what it is. And I do think that because Liv had such a strong showing, I don't think that means she's out of the title picture ever again. I don't think this isn't a one and done kind of a deal. She feels still really relevant. Producer, what were you going to say?
If we're just going nitpicky real quick, I would really like to see Liv break away from the just solid black gear.
Okay.
I keep seeing her and hoping for some other color. The style is really cool. I just want to see something other than just black.
Yeah.
Because usually I know a lot of heels wear black, but when I see Becky wearing black, it's just black on like the same color. Kind of annoys me just in general.
Yeah.
And also I just in general would have wanted to see more women's matches. So
in general, yeah. Kev, you're the resident fashionista and fashion icon. What do you think about her gear?
Yes. I have no complaints. I mean,
right.
If you add color.
Thanks.
Okay.
Hey.
No, what I was gonna say, if they do add color, like I think it can, enhance it and stuff like that. Yeah. I mean, Reese wear all black. If Liv Morgan had a ring or two in the right spot, maybe.
Kev would have been happy if they were in colorful bikinis and mud. I mean, that's
highlight.
Well, red-blooded American male wouldn't.
Wow. Okay. This show's just someone listening for the first time has just turned it off.
Yeah. He's like, correct me if I'm wrong, but weren't those matches very popular amongst the entire audience?
We've all seen Stripes.
Yeah. I agree. She could stand to branch out a little bit in the color mark there, just because she is not a heel. But I have a hard time because I think that she looks really solid in the gear that she's had. I guess I just don't know enough about that side of it to say anything definitive.
I also think it's more of her being, hey, I'm focused. Like,
maybe,
just straight black trunks. Like, I'm trying to think like Luger when he would just wear black trunks, nothing else, just, Austin, Goldberg.
Cold, yeah.
Yeah. Like they were just like, hey, like cut the shit. I'm, strictly here for, business, and that's it. So,
yeah. Even The Rock, it was just black trunks. He just threw his logo on the back.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's tough to say. It is tough to say just because also specifically in this match they both were wearing black, and so it's a little harder to. But either way, not trying to dig too far into the realm of the fashion side of things as we tend to do. Let's talk main event and then talk a little bit about Raw. The main event here: Brock Lesnar, due to Roman Reigns and his COVID issues, Brock Lesnar was put into the Fatal 4-Way, making it a Fatal 5-Way. Brock Lesnar defeats Big E in a match that included Bobby Lashley, Kevin Owens, and Seth Rollins as well. I know me and Sportsbeard were live as it happened. Kev, a lot of people were talking some mad shit on here, saying that Brock Lesnar clearly has beef with the New Day after destroying Kofi and Big E. Some people are happy with his win, some people are not. Where do you fall here in Big E taking the World Championship? Regardless of the talk we had about Bobby Lashley, just in general, when you watch this, how'd you feel?
I had no complaints of Brock winning, besides him getting a clean victory over Big E. I wouldn't have cared I would have preferred, I should say, if he pinned, obviously not Bobby now, but Seth or KO.
Yeah.
And going into this match, I thought whoever won, they were pinning KO.
Sucks.
KO's been... Yeah, it sucks. Like, I love KO, but KO's been like the punching bag, the talent enhancement. Like, he's almost like the main event jobber.
Like a Foley.
I was gonna say like a Dolph, but like it just seems like that's where, that's where he's been at. Like, But outside of that, you know, I thought it was cool that Brock won. I was, you know, Marsh and I have talked about it before. It was always, you know, just like with Roman, who would take it off of him? You know, would Brock have taken it off of Roman? Maybe, possibly. But for him to, you know, take it off of Big E is like, holy shit, like, this is kind of, you know, almost a little swerve, like, you know, a card subject to change, obviously, and, you know, cool.
Yeah. Brock Lesnar has a little bit of a Hogan vibe to me. Not in a bad way, but in the he's special and we book him different than everyone else. Because with Big E in championship matches, you always go, is this the right guy to take it off of him? I don't know, maybe. And like, as you look at the card on Raw, it was constantly like, who would be the right guy to take it off Big E, right? But with Brock Lesnar, it's always like, well, if Brock Lesnar's in the match, there's a really good chance he's going to win, because why would anyone beat Brock Lesnar? And he's special in that way, you know? So I think that actually losing to Brock Lesnar doesn't hurt anyone, including Big E. I thought those last seconds, Beard and I lost my shit. When Big E put up Brock Lesnar to do the big ending, that's a one-armed move where he lifted like Brock Lesnar into position. He fucking, that's like a fireman carry.
All 270 pounds of him or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say, is he close to 300 pounds? I wouldn't be shocked if he were. He's big. How fucking impressive was it that Big E was seconds away from landing the big ending? Like, I saw that and I screamed. I went, oh my God, because a man picked up Brock Lesnar with an arm. Big E looked good in that moment.
Oh, yeah. He looked great in that. Like, I thought, like, I was like, man, if he beats Brock that way, like, that would have been amazing.
Yeah, that's why I was screaming. I said, oh my God, it's happening.
Yeah.
Beard, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I didn't have a problem with the match, and I didn't have a problem with Brock Lesnar winning. I just, I feel bad for Big E because I don't think he's going to get another run at a title shot anytime soon.
Okay.
I could be 100% wrong, but I feel like for the Big E fans and stuff out there, I think they have a little bit of a gripe. I don't even know that he ever really even got a good push as champion. And I heard rumors that like Vince wasn't that happy with him being the WWE champion, but you know, I mean, does he look the part? Did he act? I mean, I thought he did good. I mean, Did he get it kind of, you know, I think they were going to probably do more with him and Bobby Lashley. And then with Roman being out, now we've got Bobby and Brock, and everybody seems to be a lot more excited about Bobby and Brock than they would have been anything with Big E. So
it's true.
Is it all that misguided that Big E is a champion?
Exactly. But the thing is that, you know, those people sitting there saying that, oh, I heard Vince didn't like Big E as champion, this and that. To me, I think that's absolute bullshit, because Big E brought on so many eyes to the WWE and the championship. You know, he was on College Game Day. I couldn't tell you one other WWE superstar on College Game Day ever.
He was at that boxing event and announced that one guy.
Yeah, I mean, like, he was, you know, he was in the public eye, mainstream public eye, with the belt, and
I don't remember, and I also he was in the audience for a UFC fight wearing a Ghostbusters Christmas sweater, and I know that sounds like a silly thing to say, but that's also a super relatable thing for people to see. They said, "Oh, check out that beast-looking dude there," and some kids watching him saying, "That guy looks like me, and he's the WWE champion. Oh my God, he likes the Ghostbusters too. He's a nerd." Like, I felt like it was super beneficial and super relatable is what I felt like he came off as. Right before we pitch to producer, I do want to throw this out here too. Although some people have gripes about the Big E reign, at the end of the day, at the end of the reign, do you feel like that Big E is not a believable contender moving forward? Meaning that if he shows up and wins a title, is it going to be believable? If he shows up in a title match, is it going to be hard to stomach? I feel like Big E's in a better spot than he's ever been in, especially losing to a Brock Lesnar, because at the end of the day, who the fuck beats Brock Lesnar? He's only lost, I think, 6 people in the entire history of his time in WWE. Like, losing to Brock is not a thing to be that ruins careers. You know what I mean? I don't even know that Triple H has ever beaten Brock Lesnar. You know?
Yeah, truthfully, I don't think Big E losing to Brock, is a huge deal. Like I said, just in the match, I would have preferred, because then you have the, hey, I never lost it type of thing. And with Big E, like, I think he can easily jump in the title picture. Because before, when he won Money in the Bank, it was like, oh shit, cool, sweet, here we go. And then we got Goofy Big E again. And I'm like, ugh, maybe he's not ready. Maybe this isn't his time. And then he cashed in. I hated the cash in, but whatever. Got it. And then, all right, I'm business and stuff like that. And I was like, cool, this is, I thought it was great. His reign, might have been a little short, but.
Yeah. I could have stood for more days.
Yeah, and I definitely think he'll get either that or the Universal title anytime.
Yeah, I think he's a believable contender
in the rest
anytime.
of his career.
Producer, real quick.
I would not mind at all if they turned all of New Day heel.
Okay.
Because think about it, you've got Zelina as a heel queen, you could have Xavier as a heel king, Kofi just coming back from his wife having a baby, so I feel like there's a fresh start where you could turn him heel. And Big E, I wouldn't mind seeing him at a champ down the line as a heel. I think he could be, it would be different. It would be probably feel new.
Yeah.
So I know they've talked about in the past how they really want to be heels because they have the most fun. But I guess back in the day it didn't go over so well. But I mean, at this point, I think they could do it. I think they'd have so much fun.
I think they could nail it.
Yeah.
I thought when they were heels at the beginning, I liked it. I know Marsh didn't very much, but I liked it. I was like, all right, I like these guys, this and that, and if they want to be heels again, cool. Let them do it. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be totally opposed to that.
Yeah.
Question.
Go ahead, Beard.
Where do they do this? On Raw or on SmackDown? And do they get to maim and or cripple the Usos? Because then I'm all for it. We don't need any more heels in the WWE. I'll just say right now, we have plenty of heels. That's why I like the
including
almost
Drew McIntyre.
Yeah. Well, and you guys don't think he's a babyface anyway, so I don't know what that matters. I'm just saying, the only getting over, and they're not getting over because they didn't beat the Usos right now, is the New Day. Oh, but Big E lost his title. Are you going to keep them separate? Now, if you move Big E back to SmackDown and he competes for the Universal, and they do it as a heel and they get to beat the crap out of the Bloodline, which, by the way, I've been back for almost a year. I'm already tired of that story. Okay, they're good. They help each other out, but nobody can unite to overthrow them for 5 minutes. And I'm not saying they have to be gone forever, but just I don't know, just change it up.
Well, yeah,
attention span is way shorter now. Just give me something different every time. You could still run a long-term storyline. Sorry, Kevin, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I can totally agree where I see where you're coming from, where it's gotten kind of stale.
I don't care about it.
They haven't really progressed it as much. I'm still enjoying it. It's not that, I'm not sick of it that much yet. But, yeah, create a fucking stable or faction. Yeah. And, let them run roughshod. Yeah, Big E going over to SmackDown would be great.
Yeah. I agree that it's an anomaly in that I have no reason to be invested in Usos versus New Day, other than I know that when the match happens, it's going to be a good match. It's going to be exciting. So I'll give you 100%. You know what I mean? But I do think of it as an anomaly. There's every reason to not give a shit. I think I only give a shit because I just have for so long about those two teams. So I don't disagree with you at all in that concept.
one thing I will say quickly is during that match, I actually like the outcome because I didn't want both the King and the Queen of the WWE to be tag team champions.
That's fair.
You know, most of the time, you know, especially back in the day, the King of the Ring, you know, that launched people and, you know, that took them to the next level. And I'm hoping that with Xavier, but, you know, will it happen? I don't know. Should it? Probably. He deserves it.
Yeah.
I want to caveat on one thing that producer lady said too back. Yeah. They're not having enough women matches for that pay. The best, like Rhea Ripley couldn't wrestle. Like we couldn't have a Nikki ASH. I mean, I know there's injuries and there's other things behind the scene. There could have been COVID. I mean, like if I had cable and paid $69 for that pay-per-view or whatever, Extreme Digital, whatever, I'd have been irritated. Thank God I have Peacock and it didn't cost me anything more than I already pay. That they didn't have. If you're a female wrestling fan, like it was pretty scary. If I have one criticism of that card over anything else, I
agree. Yeah, they should have at least had the women tag match on the kickoff show at the very least. And people would have complained that it was on the kickoff show, but you know, if you're only trying to run a 3-hour show, you know.
Well, they could have put.
I always think it's stupid that they have an hour kickoff show and they have one fucking match that lasts all of 5.5 minutes.
Yeah, I didn't watch the kickoff show because I was doing the hockey thing, but I'll say this: they could have, they could have put Charlotte on the pre-show.
Well, I was going to say that regardless of how we feel about it, there's really no excuse on why Charlotte didn't defend the title there.
Right.
Whether we would have cared or not.
I think it would have been great.
It would have been good for her character if they'd have done an open challenge too. Even if the wrestling would have been brutal in the ring, which we all know it would have been.
Yeah.
And regardless of what happened to Tony with Tony Storm, was Tony Storm gone by the time that Day One hit? She was, right?
Yes.
Yeah, she
Okay, so think about it this way.
You have
Go ahead,
Charlotte.
Kev.
I was going to say, you have Charlotte go out there and be like, hey, I was supposed to defend my title here, but I made that bitch quit. You know, is there anyone in the locker room that wants to face me right now?
Well, what would have been even better, what Kevin's saying is, I made that bitch quit. Is there anybody in the locker room? And everybody in the locker room is like, no. That would have been even better. Like, they would have had them all in the locker room going, yeah, no, we don't want to wrestle you. You're terrible.
We're good. Yeah.
You know those moments where all the wrestlers come out to, like, the stand and stand out front of the ramp or whatnot? You just have the entire women's locker room stand over there, and they all look at each other and just shake their head and walk right back. Nah, none of us want to.
Or they go in and beat the hell out of her and leave her in a bloody mess in the middle of the ring. That would have been cool, too.
Yeah, there you go. But,
But that's the other thing is that...
Go ahead.
I was just going to say with Charlotte is, you know, I guess during the house shows or live events, she's been facing Sasha, and now Sasha's hurt again.
Yeah, Sasha got hurt in the last one they had.
Big shock there.
Yeah, but it's a big injury, isn't it? Like, she's going to be out for a while.
It was a sprained leg. Like, I think it's her knee got sprained. So it might be a few weeks, but I don't think it's going to be like 9 months. It's not a
I thought it was like a neck or back or something. But...
Dollars to donuts, the injury was caused by Charlotte's ineffectiveness in the ring.
Well, I will say, though, I mean, also, think about it. Just from like a reputation standpoint, you've been having triple threats on the house shows. Someone quits, and then your next match, the person gets injured. From a reputation standpoint, you got to defend yourself at somewhere, right? Like, and then you don't show up at the pay-per-view. Like, I'm not saying that it's all got to be kayfabe or whatever. I mean, I don't know what I'm saying other than I think that they could have utilized it. And like Kev said, I'm glad. That's why I was happy to pitch it to Kev. I knew he was thinking exactly what I was. If I'm Charlotte Flair, Tony Storm quits, there's no reason I'm not going on TV and saying I drove my last contender directly out of the industry because she hasn't popped up yet.
Out of the fucking country.
Yeah, out of the country. She's not even in America anymore. She's not wrestling anymore. Who else wants me to destroy their career? I'm standing here begging you to take this title off me because I don't like being here anyways. Get the fucking crowd to hate you even more and have someone come out and, I don't know, ruin their day too. Who knows? Injure them. I don't know. I don't know where it goes. I'm just saying there's enough meat on that bone to like really feed into it. And to Beard's point, there wasn't enough women's matches to begin with. It could have done Charlotte a world of good to go out there and do an open challenge because she ran her last contender directly out of the world.
And even if, like Beard said, no one shows up, at least, there's more women's superstar presence on the pay-per-view.
True.
Yeah.
True. And that would even help her character. Do an open challenge and no one show up and go, yeah, no one wants to fight me because I beat you so bad.
Or not even an open challenge. Just say, hey, this was supposed to be my match. I scared my last opponent so bad she left the country. I'm sure you guys just wanted to see me. Here I am. Goodbye.
Yeah.
And then
bask. She should say bask in my glory.
Yeah.
Just to make people even more mad about Keith Lee.
Yeah. 10-second pose.
Yeah. 10-second pose. She just like starts quoting everyone's fucking lines who've been released.
Yeah.
Grim
If
Reaper
you
says
smell what Charlotte's cooking. So, what's up, Grim?
Grim Reaper says they're waiting for Bayley to come back to challenge Charlotte. Marsh's dream booking. Grim Reaper, you son of a bitch. How do you dare start a fucking year like this? Although, I will say of all the contenders that Charlotte's ever had, I think Bayley has consistently the best matches with Charlotte and almost always goes over, and I like that aspect. Bayley almost always wins.
But no, we don't need Bayley versus Charlotte right away. Bayley will be coming back from an injury, and we don't need Charlotte to re-injure her.
Do you think WrestleMania for Bayley, or?
I think. Well, I don't know how soon she was. I just love when people come back at Rumble.
Yeah, I think she could win the Royal Rumble believably and have a main event match at Mania, and I think that it'd be incredible.
Quick question: do they do a women's Rumble then a men's Rumble? Is that how they do Royal Rumble now, basically? And those are the only matches, really?
No, there's a bunch of other matches.
No, there's title matches and
Oh, okay.
It's usually just title matches and also the Rumble matches. Sometimes there's a grudge
that's pretty
match.
long, right? It's like 30 people. Sorry.
Yeah.
Cut you off.
Yeah.
No, you're right. It's all good.
It's the greatest wrestling night of the year every year.
It's so good, man. And I think to be honest, to be contrary to what Kevlar's thinking already in his mind, it is not the casual fan day of the year. It is the hardcore fan day of the year. I think Survivor Series is way more casual fan based than Rumble. Rumble has the callbacks, the returns.
That's why I hate it.
Yeah, it is why you hate it, because it's more for the casual fans. I think that the Rumble is for the hardcore fans. And same with Mania, I think is 50-50. But I think Rumble is the strictly hardcore fan one. You have returns, you have legends, you have the new stars, you have the big moments. Like, you have it all. It's all right there. Beard, what were you going to say?
I was just going to ask, but I looked it up while I was listening to you say 24 days in the Royal Rumble. So we're
Yep.
Right
Saturday. Another Saturday event.
It's another Saturday. I think it's the 29th.
Yep, it says 29 January 2022. It's 24 days. They are being smart by having it on Saturdays, guys. That's NFL playoffs. So they're not going to compete with the NFL playoffs.
And see, that's what I was wondering, because they did Day One, obviously, on a Saturday they had to. And then this one's on a Saturday, but in years past, they competed against NFL playoffs.
Well, they competed against...
I'm just wondering if this is going to be a new thing where it's on Saturdays. Like, I haven't looked up any of the other pay-per-views, but they fucking should. It makes fucking sense.
They listed all those pay-per-views for 2022 earlier, and there's only like 8 or 9. It's not even the full 12, and they were all on Saturdays. So I do think that there's something to it. I don't think it has everything to do with the playoffs, because otherwise they wouldn't keep being Saturdays the rest of the year. But at the end of the day, I don't understand contracts. I don't know what's going on. I've heard rumors it has to do with the availability of the stadiums. But me, I don't know. I'm a dumb drunk who talks on my podcast about weird shit. So, Beard, go ahead.
Yeah, just one thing about this, and I don't want to beat a dead horse, but understand, too, the WWE has contracts with Peacock, which is NBC, and Fox, both of which have football on Sunday. So that might be part of their agreements, too, not to, create a conflict. And honestly, as a fan that wants to watch sports, I'm not going to miss an NFL playoff game regardless of the team, to watch a wrestling event. I'm going to watch the football. Like, you know, my team is garbage. They're not in the playoffs. I enjoy it even more because I don't have a dog in the fight. I know everybody in Arizona is probably sweating. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I enjoy it more when my team's not in it. Hockey and football and baseball, really.
So two things.
It's
Are the
less
Cardinals
stressful.
in the playoffs?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they just beat
Okay.
Dallas. Woohoo!
Well,
Anytime
but
you
Dallas
beat the
sucks.
Cowboys. No,
The
Dallas
Cowboys are awful.
Dallas is going to win their division. Dallas does not suck. Dallas needed
Cowboys.
that win to be they could have forced Green Bay to play all their starters. Dallas could have actually had the number 1 overall seed if they had beaten the Cardinals. They could be up for the number 1 overall seed, but Green Bay locked it in because Dallas lost to the Cardinals. So Green Bay doesn't even really have to play for anything this last game, but they will. It sounds like Rodgers and them want to play. Everything I've ever seen, I think you play your starters. Tom Coughlin did the same thing with the Giants week 17 at the time when we played the Patriots. They were undefeated. We played with them. In fact, at one point, I think we had a 20-point lead. We ended up losing the game. Then we see them in the Super Bowl, and we're like, they didn't show them anything in the Week 17 game, and they beat their ass in the Super Bowl, and they beat the undefeated team in the Super Bowl. So, in a lot of people's minds, it's the greatest Super Bowl ever. It definitely
for
is.
sake of consistency to my fallen brothers, I've been talking mad shit on Cowboys for all my life, and I'm not going to stop now. But
You should.
But I will say that make it very, very clear. I'm not saying you're wrong at all. What you're saying makes sense. There's every possibility that Peacock and NBC are saying and Fox are saying don't run on Saturdays because of the football league. But that ends in February. I'm just saying if they're doing it all year, it's also possible if they just said, hey, you don't run it this part of the year, and WWE, for sake of consistency, says, well, then let's try and run it Saturdays all year. Who knows? I'm saying what you say makes sense. I'm just saying I'm too dumb to make an educated guess on that. Go ahead,
Well,
Kev.
see, I'm sitting here coming from a fan standpoint because the worst day of the year, work-wise, is the Monday after the fucking Super Bowl.
Yes.
So, you know, you have pay-per-views, normally 12 pay-per-views, always ending late on a Sunday. That Monday always sucks. Not as bad as the Super Bowl, but it always sucks. So if you switch it to a Saturday, fuck yeah. You know, I know for a long time, or, you know, not a long time, but forever, people have been wanting the NFL to put the Super Bowl on a Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
Or make Monday a national holiday.
But they fixed this problem, Kev. Because of the expansion, the playoff expansion, they adding an additional team and only giving one bye to the first overall seed. That has moved the Super Bowl to February 13th instead of the first weekend in February. I believe that Monday is actually a federal holiday. Let me look real quick, but I believe I'm not wrong.
Valentine's Day? Valentine's Day is a federal holiday?
No, Valentine's Day is not a federal holiday. I think that
I think you were thinking President's Day, which would be one more week, right?
Oh, it's the 21st. Okay, yeah. I thought they had aligned it with President's Day. I will say it's not always going to be on the 13th of February, right? That just so happens this year.
That's funny.
But if they
real
put
quick,
it back one more day, or one more week,
Lunar in the chat. I love me some Rumble, that good shit. Lunar was also at the 2019 Rumble, for the record, Kev. And Lee Moonlight coming by just to say hi. Hi, Leah. Hope to see you tomorrow night. But we can keep it going. Keep going. Beard, do you have more stuff on that one, or you want to?
No, guys. The other thing is they may get better ratings on Saturday. I mean, college football is on the decline a little bit because it's just there's so much to watch. It's so much more of a regional sport like baseball. So nationally, they're like, this just makes sense to be on Saturday. They have less to compete with.
It's also the replayability. If I can't watch it on Sunday, I have Raw on Monday. When am I supposed to catch that pay-per-view if I don't watch it live, right?
Yeah.
So if I put it on Saturday, I can maybe watch it live, and if I can't, I have all day Sunday to figure it out before Raw. You know what I mean? Like, I think that the idea of being caught up is also easier. Go ahead, Kev.
That and travel. You know, a lot more people might be willing to travel to a pay-per-view if it's on a Saturday and not a Sunday.
Yeah, that's true, because if you go to a pay-per-view on Sunday, you can't work that Monday. There's just no way you can get back at home.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of positives to it being on Saturday. I have no complaints. To be honest, I don't know anybody who's complained about it. Saturday pay-per-views. Matter
Yeah,
of
I
fact,
like 'em.
when
All
AEW
the
started,
assholes
they
that
were all
normally
Saturday
have Sundays
pay-per-views.
off.
What was that?
Said all the assholes that always have Sundays off would have to work on Saturdays. They're complaining.
That's a good point. I'll be honest, when I was working the corporate
Oh,
jobs, it was easier for me to get, or when I was working the retail jobs, it was easier for me to get a Saturday off than a Sunday off anyways. But I used to tell them I required one Sunday off a month
Because of football.
because it was pay-per-view day.
No, but I'm saying
Yeah.
it was hard for you to get Sundays off when you worked retail because of football.
And religion. A lot of people take that day off for church.
Yeah.
Where no one's taking off Saturdays for church. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
see, WWE's just trying to get the religious viewers.
they're just trying to get them in.
That could be very well
Yeah.
outside of Seventh-day Adventists to go to church on Saturday, which by the way is the correct fucking day, because
Mhm.
that is the seventh day of the week. So
Mhm.
Sunday is the first day of the week.
Well, let's hit just a couple things on Raw that we hadn't talked about real quick. Your biggest concern is where Veer is? Fuck.
Well, I do keep running promos for him, so I actually don't disagree with producer lady. What are they doing? Are we literally gonna get like, who was the guy that they ran the Karrion Kross stuff? Oh, he's cut. I bet you $100 they cut Veer.
It's starting to remind me a little bit of what was that guy's name who was in all white? I want to say it's Malachi, but it's not. But there was that dude who was supposed to be like the anti-Undertaker, and they showed him for a couple of vignettes a couple of weeks in a row, and then they actually cut him, and he just never came back. It's starting to get those kind of vibes. So I hear ya.
Glacier.
What was it?
Glacier.
Well, you already pointed out, like, I didn't know the guy was the baseball player from the movie. I actually feel like they're not promoting him correctly anyway. So I feel like they could be bringing a lot more fans with that guy. I mean, maybe he draws a lot internationally when this is shown internationally. People like, I mean, India is the second most populated country in the world behind China.
And WWE India is actually pretty popular. Jeremy in Time in the chat says there was no Veer vignette on Raw, so I'm actually worried he's having car problems. And Jeremy's saying Mordecai. That's the name of the guy. There was a Mordecai who had a few vignettes. It was supposed to be like the opposite of the Undertaker, and he never debuted. But they're like coming soon, and they had some stuff, and he had a couple of video promos, and then just disappeared. Yeah, so
he's gone. He's gone.
Yeah, Veer's gone. So there's only a couple things on Raw that I really wanted to highlight. Go ahead, Kev.
I was just gonna have Beard Google where does Veer live, because if he lives in Canada, that explains it.
Yeah, there's a lot of Indian Canadians in WWE, so it could be. Grim Reaper says he showed up on a pay-per-view. Grim Reaper saying right to Jeremy. Everyone getting on the Mordecai thing. Calm down, guys. Relax. I didn't hate this Raw. I saw a lot of people saying that this was a terrible Raw, and as I watched it, I just thought it was pretty solid because of, if nothing else but of, this was a woman-heavy Raw. They had the, I mean, as much as it was...
Naya's cut.
Oh, that's a good call. As much as it was kind of a shorter segment, but you even had Dana Brooke with the 24/7 title out there. You had Bianca, Liv, and Becky doing a promo segment, which we can talk about in a second. You had the women's tag championship match going on. You had Doudrop doing promos in the back. There was a ton of women on this Raw, and I loved that they, especially after day one, having so few there, I loved that they were able to highlight a chunk of Raw, like a good portion of it. Edge and Beth Phoenix doing their thing together. Go ahead.
Yeah. I don't like what they're doing with the 24/7 title. Like, I like that Dana Brooke has it. I think it's cool. But, you know, these mixed tag matches and stuff like that, get out of here.
I'll be honest, I haven't given a shit about the 24/7 title in probably a year and a half. But it's just nice that Dana had some TV time. And Tamina, which is...
Yeah.
I agree with you. I don't love what they're doing with it, but I love that they're getting something out of it. Those talents.
Why does Reginald have to be involved in a woman's storyline?
I have no idea why Reginald can't carry a storyline without women. It's actually confusing.
A romantic angle.
Yeah, he's in love with everyone.
He's like the opposite of Carmella's first.
So Rinku's saying aka known as Veer, lives in Orlando.
Oh shit.
Mm.
So it's a border issue.
Yep.
Because we denounced Florida a while ago.
Yeah, they're not letting boats in, so
Yeah.
you
No
can't get in.
boats. You can't get there.
Yeah. I mean, almost all the WWE performance stuff is down there in Florida, correct? So
yeah.
it sounds like a lot of wrestlers live in that Orlando, Tampa.
Oh, it's because Veer's showing up to the Thunderdome.
Oh, I keep showing up to the Thunderdome. It's like, fuck, where is this thing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's in Orlando.
Yeah. Keeps showing up to the Thunderdome going like, where the fuck is everybody? Like, why am I here by myself?
Yeah.
I wanted to get your opinion on two things specifically before we wrap this up. Beard, did you get to see any of Raw?
Very little.
Did you get to see the Brock Lesnar promo on Raw?
No.
Okay. I wish I'd known. I'd have sent you the YouTube clip just so you could see it, because I want to know your concept or how you felt about the presentation. But right before we go into that, then, Kev, Bianca and Liv and Becky had that promo going back and forth between all three of them.
Mm-hmm.
I think all three are doing so good. The only thing I have is an issue. Liv Morgan, you can tell when she's speaking naturally and when she's speaking words in her promo. In character. She has a cadence about her that's very much reading out loud. I'm guilty of it, 100%. Listen to me read the comments in the chat, and it is a different tone of voice. I break on the wrong areas. I emphasize the wrong words. It doesn't sound natural. I'm bad at reading out loud.
You use
I've never
your
liked
finger.
it. Right? She talks that same way. She talks that same way the way that MJF talks that way. Remember I tell you that MJF sounds scripted? It's because the cadence of his voice comes off like someone trying to remember their lines, and I'm going to say this word to this word to this word to this word. It's bump, ba-da, ba-da, ba-da. Huh? Ba-da, ba-da, ba-da. You know, like that's this wrestling promo cadence. And she has that wrestling promo cadence that I think that once she breaks that cadence, she's going to be next level. That's the only thing I think that's stopping her realistically from being considered on the same level as all the four horsewomen.
That's Roman. You know, Roman was very like that. I'm reading. And I think that, you know, Beard, you haven't been around, or you weren't around for that Roman. But once he started just, you know, once he got Paul Heyman and, you know, became a heel and just spoke, like that's why I think everyone's still so excited about this Roman, because we had the,
yeah,
I'm reading from a cue card. This is what I'm supposed to say. Okay, this, you know.
Yeah, John Cena in the ring telling him it's a promo.
Yes,
like
stuff like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Liv is in that moment where she's really good at delivering her lines, but she's not really good yet at absorbing the lines and making them her own.
Real quick, is there something going on with the YouTube stream?
You tell me. What do you got?
It's not running for me.
Okay. Maybe our YouTube live went down? I mean, we're still live other places at least. Let me see here.
No, it's going.
Yeah. The channel is not in good standing. Well, it says it's streaming.
Yep. Well, we're back in not good standing.
I haven't been in good standing for a little bit. The very first Dexter podcast we dropped had a copyright hit.
How? Like less than 30 seconds?
What do you mean?
I mean, what did you have that would violate? If you have anything less than 30 seconds, I think it's part of that fair share act.
Oh, correct. It was a name. We changed the name and reposted it, and it was fine. But our name was too close to their name, and they tagged us, and so. But it says it was streaming.
The Dexter New Blood.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. But either way, back on track here. Kev, what do you think about?
Yes, sir.
What do you think about that? That Liv's just the one step away from being.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%. Like, you know, get her, you know, hook her up with John Cena, or, you know, even Roman. Just hey, this is what helped me. Like, I think she is. Like, if she just, you know, just was natural and it flowed. Like, hell yeah, I think it'd be a lot better.
You know what line solidified it for me? When she was coming in and she said a line that was a scripted line about Becky's jacket, and Becky goes, "I like this jacket," and then all of a sudden,
Yeah, and then she's like, no one else does.
yeah, I don't like it. I don't think anybody else does
Yeah.
either. And then she kept talking, and then she went right back into a cadence. Da-da, 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 da-da. Ba-da,
Yeah.
ba-da, ba-da, ba-da. And that was the moment I was like, definitely, she just hasn't made the lines her own. When she's talking off the cuff, you can hear it.
Yeah.
She's confident to do it,
Yeah.
which is why I'm saying she's only one step away from being on an elite level that a lot of women don't ever get to. I think Liv is right there.
Holds her back from improving.
I don't think it holds her up from improving. I think that it makes her improv stand out. That when she does improv, which she's willing to do, you go, that sounded different. And there should be no moment in anyone's promo that you say, that sounds different than what you were just saying. Why did that sound different? She's that one little thing away from being that high-level main eventer of just that elite level. You know what I mean? Like, being able to break that cadence. I just wanted to throw that out there because it was.
I agree
to me,
100%. I have seen that from her. It feels like when she's doing promo work, it feels kind of like she seems nervous still a little bit, I think is what it comes down to. And I think the more she gets comfortable, I think maybe that's probably why some people would have liked to seen her win, because I feel like that would have probably relaxed her a bit. Like, you're not over until you're over, right? So, like, I don't know. I would have been okay with her winning that match.
Yeah.
You know? I don't think it would have hurt.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Yeah, I was at the point too where I was happy if she won. I'm as much as I love Becky Lynch, and I really do, I'm not at a point where I think that she needs that title consistently forever. But I do think that I do think the right win needs to happen. The right loss needs to happen.
I think they should have Becky Lynch lose the title to Liv and bring Becky back to SmackDown. And Seth Rollins, if they want to keep the family together, because I think Becky is a better SmackDown title, and then they can just figure out what they want to do with Charlotte.
Sure. Were you going to say something?
Trade her to AEW.
I think it's kind of clear when Liv speaks, especially on Raw, this past Raw, that she could really benefit from an acting class or two.
Yeah.
I think people don't think about how helpful that is, but I mean, I've taken a lot of acting classes, and you've got like lawyers in there, just people that have to speak to other groups of people, and it really does benefit them. So I think, I don't know, if she got those juices flowing, you know, I know that Sami Zayn does like improv on the outside, you know, like there's other things that you can do besides just, you know, do lines in front of your friends. That's not always going to cut it. Like, it really does help to get yourself out there in front of strangers doing things that are different. Obviously, like, Becky's done so much film, and she's studied acting, so like she's super comfortable and professional at this point. Like,
she studied acting before she even made it to the PC.
Sasha's been in shows, like, she had to study some form of acting. Like, you know, there's no like shame in training for something that you're not comfortable with. And there's even other longtime people that we love that aren't great on the mic. I just think some of these folks should really invest in what they're not great at, because then they could just kill it. And I think Liv's totally right there. And I really do hope that in some form or another that she takes an acting class, because she'd be amazing. Yeah,
that was the storyline in that Natty had in Total Divas, even, is that she felt her promos were stale and she didn't know how to do it, so she started taking acting classes. And I think that we've even talked about Natty's promos improving at a certain point, and I don't think that timeline doesn't match. So I agree.
And also, when I think of who could take the belt off of Becky, I first thought is Asuka coming back. I kind of think there's unfinished business, and I wouldn't mind a new, different, fresh Asuka.
I hear you. I disagree. I think I agree with Beard on this one. I would like to see Liv take it from Becky, but at Mania.
Okay.
I wouldn't be against Liv getting it in a triple threat of Liv, Bianca, and Becky at a main event at Mania, and Liv comes out on top. You've now made a new main eventer.
But do you think Do you think Liv is ready to carry the title?
I don't know. You gotta let him try.
Because I'm not disagreeing. I want to see her with the title. I just don't know.
Bianca wasn't ready.
I get very scared, and I only think of in a smaller sense. I think of Otis.
Right.
We were so behind him, and once he got that briefcase, it all went to shit.
Right.
Right.
But Bianca wasn't ready, and when she got that title, she started to thrive. So it's hard to say.
So if she gets it, I want her to benefit from it. I don't want her to fizzle. That's my only concern.
Kev, what were you gonna say, and then we'll go to Beard.
I was gonna say when Asuka comes back, she's going to SmackDown.
Take that title off Charlotte, damn it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm all right with that. Beard, any thoughts?
No, I agree with producer lady 100%. I think that I love hearing about, those guys taking acting lessons and stuff. It makes a lot of sense. Yeah. I wonder if Roman Reigns did the same thing and just didn't broadcast it.
I think he did, because he suddenly disappeared for a long time. He did some projects with The Rock.
He was in movies. He was in one of the
Fast and Furious.
Yeah, he was in one of those movies. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was training with The Rock on some stuff. I really feel like that. Yeah, Rock was like, "Go to my guy." You know what I mean?
Well, and The Rock? I mean, The Rock was, he did some pretty challenging roles too. Like,
yes,
he plays like a gay man in a movie. It's a spinoff from Get Shorty. I can't remember the name of the movie, but it was like a sequel. The movie was marginally good, but his performance in the movie was really good.
Be Cool.
Be Cool, yeah, that's it. I couldn't remember it because the movie was crap, but his performance in the movie,
liked it.
Yeah, I mean, his performance in the movie was excellent. Like, there's shitty movies with great performances. Speaking of good movies, I'll give you guys a recommendation. Last night, I finally got to watch the new Ghostbusters.
Oh, shit.
It was awesome. It was so good. I was like in tears at the end. It was so good.
All right, we have to watch it. We watched both.
Watch the original first. I mean, you can watch the second one too, but I watched the original and then watched it. It was so good.
So good.
I was so a big fan of how they did it, and it was really cool.
That's what I've been hearing. So let's wrap it up on a little bit more Brock Lesnar speak, and then we'll close it out. We'll close out the bar, the dive bar of the IWC. Guys, if you want to buy merch, there's none available yet. But keep an eye out. Go to WrestlingOnTheRocks.com and keep an eye out, because we're opening up a Teespring site with a brand new shirt design about to drop. And we're going to have all of our old classics, except we're going to have them updated with the new logo. Some of our older shirts that have been there for a long time had the original logo. So keep an eye out for all of that. But if you go to WrestlingOnTheRocks.com and you just want to donate, you can. There's a donate button. It goes straight to us, and you can buy me a drink right away. Tip jar, always an option. But Kev, and I'm going to revisit it next week, Beard, because I'm going to make you watch at least that promo. Kev, what did you think? Grim Reaper says, I think Mordecai is in Ghostbusters. I don't know if he's being a dick right now. Kev, what did you think about this new presentation of Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman? Your camera just cut out, so I don't know if you can hear me.
Yep, I'm here. I can hear you.
All right, so we'll roll with it. Kev, what did you think about Brock Lesnar's promo and Paul Heyman's promo and that collective unit back on Raw together?
I mean, no complaints. I liked it. I'm glad, that they're back together and stuff like that. And I think it's weird because, everyone is expecting Paul to turn on Roman. Yes. And that's how Brock was going to get the belt. So then Roman fires him. And, then obviously Roman gets COVID, and now they're together.
Yes.
I didn't mind it, but, and I think it's obviously just because, the match didn't happen, but it just felt like there was a missing piece there.
Yes.
Like a missing link in the chain, or, on the railroad track or whatever. I need a little more explaining, and I didn't get it.
I gotcha. My only issue, I thought it was good, but it felt rehashed. It didn't feel fresh. And I feel like everything Brock's been doing has felt so fresh. Every week, something feels fresher with Brock. And it feels like every time we see him, even with the win, after he won the title, he was doing selfies and video cams with the fans. And it felt fresh.
Mm-hmm.
this was the one time Brock comes out that we've seen him since SummerSlam where I went, this doesn't feel fresh. This feels rehashed. I liked it, but I wasn't impressed by it. I was like, well, they did good.
Yeah.
But they did good. They always do good.
Yeah. But I think it would have been better if they didn't, because Brock's been doing great without Paul.
Yeah.
But I think they revisited it because of the whole my advocate helped me with the free agency.
Yeah. There was a lot of great reasons to get back to it. But I think I was just expecting it with talent we know to be as good as they are, like a Paul Heyman and Brock. You're talking about two of the greatest to do what they do in the history of the industry that they're in. And somehow it felt stale. And it's the first time we've seen it in, 3 years?
Yeah.
And it somehow felt stale. And like I said, they did good. It just seemed old hat. And that's why I was really curious to know what the Beard thought of it, because it isn't something he would have seen. And I was wondering how he was going to receive it. So that's the homework is I'll send you a YouTube clip and you can watch just that segment. You don't got to watch all of Raw. But I do want to know what you think of this new presentation of Brock, because I'm just curious. Again, I thought it was good, but it felt like staticky in a sense. But outside of that, I mean, I liked the Raw in general. I liked that Doudrop's going to be in this match with Liv and Bianca. Doudrop being a total bitch to Sonya and Adam Pearce was dope.
Yeah.
It's like they have the newest version of Raw on the app now.
Oh, they finally hit? All right.
Yeah, today, season 30, episode 1, which is weird because it's Wednesday. I would have thought you could have watched it like within the next day.
Yeah, typically they do,
Normally,
but USA app fucks up.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Cliff.
Yeah, I'm glad that it's a fatal 4-way for the number one contender, and they're not doing the same old shit that they've been pulling. Like, well, you pinned Becky, so you get a title shot.
Exactly. Yeah, having an actual match that doesn't involve the champ. And I do think, I don't remember. You have to correct me if I'm wrong here, Kev. But didn't the show open with Brock and Heyman?
Yes.
Yeah. So, Beard, just watch the first 20 minutes of the show, and you'll be able to give us your input, and you'll be set.
I'm not gonna.
You can watch the rest, but I'm not saying you. That's the only thing I really, really want you to see. So I really want to know what you think about the rest of it.
No, I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah,
no way.
You get an F.
Yeah, no way.
I'm gonna protest Raw until they fix SmackDown.
Good luck.
We'll see what happens on SmackDown.
No, I'll get around to watching it. I would have watched it before I came on. I wasn't.
It's fine. It's fine. It's just the only thing. Oh, and the other thing I thought was fantastic, and I just wanted to, before we forget, to shout it out. Big E's promo on Raw, I thought was absolutely fucking phenomenal. The way he talked about losing to Roman, the way he talked about regaining it.
Brock.
Yeah. The way that Big E even presented it, I felt like was so true and real to who he was. I know it sounds stupid and small, but I loved the way that he said, this year is going to be our best year. You feel me? And looked at Kevin, the guy. The way he said that and projected it felt emotional to me. Like the way that he said, you feel me, felt like it came from a raw place of do you understand where I'm coming from? Like he was trying to connect with him. Am I coming across? And I just thought it was so fucking cool. Cause like you said, there's been so many Big E promos where he was so jokey, so laughy, so goofy, which is fine, but also felt like disconnected. The way he said, make the new year your best year, you feel me, and the way he looked at him, I was all like, he's making sure he's communicating.
He's serious, yeah.
Yeah, and I just loved
he's
it.
making sure his point gets across.
Right? Yeah.
Well, and the other thing...
Go ahead.
I was going to say, too, about that Fatal 4-Way is, we talked about it, about Kevin and Seth teaming up against the others, and it happened and stuff like that. But the whole time it was, when's the other one going to turn their back on the other one?
Yes.
And then they had, I forgot who it was. Oh, it was KO. I think it was KO doing the frog splash, and then followed by Seth or whatever. off the top rope, and then Seth pins, and then you see Kevin Owens like cheering.
Yes.
And even I think it was Corey was like, "Oh look, he's actually cheering for him." I think they are serious. Once that happened, I'm like, "All right, Big E's out of the ring.
Yeah.
Bobby's out of the ring. Why don't they just run into the ring, pull the ultimate heel shit, and pin each other real quick?"
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I was like, "Yo, everyone in the audience would be so pissed off. Everyone, everyone would just like instant boos and like shit. That's it." And then they're sitting there like, "Okay, you won the match. You face Brock, and then I get the first title shot. Cool." But they didn't do it, and then, and I think when they make superstars look stupid, I
Yeah.
can't see it.
Yeah. Well, I got you. No.
They had this strategy going in let's team up, let's do this. If I win, you get a title opportunity, vice versa.
Yeah.
And then, hey, you had the perfect opportunity to do that, and you guys didn't.
Yeah. I got you. Beard, any final thoughts?
No, I don't have anything, guys. Sorry. I know I
No.
didn't have a ton for this one, but
I loved it. I thought this conversation went fantastic. Producer has something she wants to throw in real quick as we start wiping down the tables here.
Just another tears in our beers for Betty White because we didn't.
Betty White, tears in our beers. She was a WWE legend. She should have been a Hall of Famer, but she wasn't just because the job is rigged.
And we knew that Xavier Woods was just fighting through it because he was so excited. He even showed a little snippet when he was taking time off next month to go to some Golden Girls convention. So, yeah.
Yeah, he posted when he requested time off from the WWE that he was going to go to her 100th birthday party.
Yeah.
It did not happen, but in good form, as any good comedian does, she passed away after all the magazines had gone to print and to be released that said she turned 100. Just in there was no if she had passed away a day before, they wouldn't have gone to print. It was the most perfect joke she could play on the industry that she was a part of for 70 something years. So just fucking phenomenal. Tears in our beers, but a final applause for Betty White making one final prank on People magazine.
I mean, when you think of women in comedy, some of the greatest comedians are women. Carol Burnett, still alive, by the way.
Yeah, the old ear pull.
I think of I love Lucille Ball. It's comedy greatness, and some of the stuff that they've done. I watched a ton of stuff on Betty. I personal connection. My grandmother, my mom, my dad's mom, my grandma Jay. She was a huge Golden Girls fan, and I can hear her laugh for that show. She loved comedy, and so she's been dead for a long time. My grandma Jay. So when I'd see Betty White, I would fondly remember her. And that's probably one of the more disappointing things is that we won't get to see that. But part of me was she was 99. She lived a really good life. I think her husband had been dead 40 years or something
82, I think he died.
Yeah, that's close to 40 years. That is on the money 40 years this year in 2022.
But also cool that Betty
never remarried.
Yeah, but Beth Phoenix also had her name on her jacket.
Yeah, it said Betty on it, but she also calls herself Uncle Betty. Mm-hmm. So, or Aunt Betty.
Aunt Betty. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Fantastic, and I mean, I grew up watching all the Golden Girls. I don't think I've missed a single episode of it. And what I can appreciate about Betty White's life that I don't think a lot of stars get is there was absolutely there's no way she didn't understand how beloved she was.
Oh yeah.
As much as people want to talk about, give people their flowers now because you never know. And that stuff keeps happening and over again. And it's I wish I would have told him this. I wish I told him that. I think everyone told Betty White over and over again.
Yeah.
America loves you.
I watched. Are you familiar with Watch Mojo? They have a Miss Mojo, and they do like the 20th greatest Betty White moments, and like 3 or 4 of them are her getting like lifetime achievement awards from certain things, and it's every time she comes out and she acts like she can't believe it, and it's very authentic. It's not fake.
Yeah.
You can tell that she's genuinely like, really. But I mean, to think about her first sitcom was like 1955.
Yeah.
Like 1955. My mother was born in 1957. Okay. So she was in the business for like 65 years. And she was super relevant.
It was
Her
77.
SNL
Her first Hollywood appearance was when she was 22.
Yeah, incredible. And she was in the military. I mean, like she was in World War II. Just an American icon. Like,
Absolutely. I thought
So
about
I
it
was
too.
sad she didn't get to do her 100th because they were going to do a television special for her 100th birthday and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm sure she was alive and doing well. And I didn't even hear that she was sick. And you think of all the
She
people.
wasn't.
She wasn't.
She wasn't. It's natural causes.
She just passed away in her sleep, not even sick.
Yeah. So.
She was ready to go to another dimension.
Her last joke.
Yeah, I was thinking about it too. My grandfather turns 89 in 5 days.
Yeah.
And if she was in Hollywood when she was 22, that means that by the time he had cognizant memories, he doesn't know of a time where Betty White wasn't on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, I think my grandma,
incredible.
if she was still alive, she'd be right around your grandfather's age, about 89.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
It's cool.
It's insane. It's absolutely crazy, and she's absolutely beloved, and I'm just so glad that. And I think that part of that, like like you said, just the authentic confusion as to how she's getting these awards, is because everything she did was so lighthearted and came from such a good place that that's not the stuff that people take notice of. People take notice of the drama and the darkness, and she's always been such a light and aloof almost in a lot of her comedy. A lot of her comedy was even just goofy, and it was like, oh, I do this silly TV show and I go play with my friends over here. She was in that show maybe this time with Marie Osmond. I remember watching it as a kid because my mom loved Marie Osmond, and the whole idea was that like, hey, Marie Osmond has a sitcom and it's probably going to get canceled soon because there's no way it's going to be successful. But Betty White was on it because her and Marie Osmond were just really close friends for a really long time, and that came across on screen too. So it's like she just did favors for friends, did shows with people she liked to be around, and then people said, we love your entire body of work. And she's like, really? And you can get it. Like
I never saw the show, but it was called It's Hot in Cleveland.
Yeah.
I guess the premise is these 3 rich ladies have to land there, and then they end up staying because they like it because they're all divorcees or whatever, their life changes. But Betty White's on the show, and her character was written for 1 episode, and they're like, once she came out and did it, they're like, yeah, she's gonna have to stay on the show. Like she she was so incredibly good that she was going to do the pilot, and they're like, yeah, we've got to change the whole format of the show. I heard the same about Danny DeVito and with Sunny in Philadelphia and stuff like that. But
100%.
But yeah,
fantastic.
So sad to see her go. I'm glad producer lady brought.
And WWE cameo. So.
And she had the Betty White episode of Raw.
I'm gonna kick some ass.
Yeah, I'm gonna kick some ass. Kev, anything you want to say about Betty White before we close down the bar?
No, I mean, you guys covered it all. Like, she was awesome. I know she came out, I think it was a couple weeks ago, saying that she was just trying to enjoy her last couple months of playing with Legos because Legos say that, recommended for ages, I think, like 7 through 99.
Oh,
and she's like, yeah.
Oh, God.
That's so funny.
That's so sad.
She's so good.
God damn.
That's actually an outstanding joke.
It's incredibly written
It's-
joke.
What's also crazy is that the People magazine only had 99 or was it
96 pages. The People
96,
magazine. I was pissed. They had one commemorative edition of all about her life, and it was 96 pages. Like, really, you couldn't squeeze 4 more pages in that?
Right.
Go ahead, Kev. That's amazing. I didn't know that joke. That's so fucking good.
No, yeah, like I just thought that one was awesome. Like, because my boys love Legos, and for her to say that, I was like, damn, like, I didn't even catch it. My wife caught it, and I was like, damn, that's awesome, right on the money.
Yeah, how fucking keen are you to make that joke? You know what I mean? Like, you are
Yeah.
fucking on it. If you're 99 and go, well, Legos are out. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
End of the road here.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. And it's incredible that you guys come with us for a drink every week right here in the dive bar of the IWC. Guys, I think I'm ready for last call if you guys are.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Cheers.
Cool. We will be back next week for a brand new episode 1, but we're also going to be back tomorrow night with Clump and Miss Amanda Jane for a brand new episode 1 right here in the dive bar of the IWC. Guys, thanks for coming along and having a drink with us. You're drinking buddies. We will see you down the road. That's last call.
Cheers.
Bye, everyone.
Cheers.
Hey, producer lady here. Thanks for tuning in. Continue to support us or buy us a drink by following and putting the I in subscribe on Twitch. Or subscribe and review our podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to us. Cheers!
I would never have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.